everyone.
There it is. There it is. What a great midday show again, man. I sat here for the pretty much all of it. And it was a great little show there. So thanks, guys.
Wing time.
Keeping it going. Yeah, what was that? So that's the part that I missed. I went and got a coffee, which is right here.
I sat down at the wrong time.
$60 for Wingstop? Wow, how did that happen?
It was that much?
No, but what was the start of that? Okay. Okay, Joseph, yeah, I don't know if they can hear you, so all right. Yeah, no, Joe is just going on and saying that thanks to all the viewers. So we'll make sure to get that next week on the midday show. And then hopefully Sharif will save me one and we'll have, have a couple.
As long as there's some hot wings, then we're good to go.
Yeah, we'll figure out the right.
A little spicy.
Yeah, well, Dara, we can't.
Oh, true, and Derek, yeah.
So we'll have to. The garlic parmesan is good. Maybe a little spicy, though. The garlic might be spicy. Look at all the waves, everybody. What's up, Svetoslav?
I got to get in the chat here.
Yeah, I'm just loading up the chat right now. Hey, welcome to everybody. We'll put up the chat right here. A couple waves happening. If everybody wants to wave back and forth, let's do a wave. I go to the PWHL hockey game and they do a wave. So I'm gonna do some waves.
I love how that's still
right now. It's really great when you're actually in a basketball arena or a hockey arena and you're doing the wave around there. Hey, what's up? What's up, Omega? Get it, Omega Zero, right there. Get it, Omega Zero. Coming through. Naked wings. Yeah, we like the lemon pepper. The lemon pepper wing is legit there. So shout out to Kahlua in there. We had that last time. We had a couple. Okay. Oh, here's some waves coming in now. We had. Hey, there we go. Hi, everybody. Hey, everybody. Yeah, so it is now Friday.
Is it Friday?
And oh my God, okay, now the waves are really starting to come in hot and heavy here. Hey, everybody, hey, okay. All right, here we go. Hey, how's it going? Sean Neal. Oh, there's someone named Sean Neal in here. Both spelled right, so we'll appreciate that. And Bears versus Bulls, we wave to you as well. Thank you, everybody, for the participation. And let's just get it going. We were just looking at GME. Was starting to go nuts a little bit. We're $1 and $2 in the money on Palantir. We're $2 in the money on Google right now, but very, very light positions left on these two. Just wow, what a good mover. Today, Palantir adds another 4 on top of, I think it was... And again, I was looking at what the market was doing for the week. I mean, some names, we did have 1 or 2 days where we had slowed down this past week, but there it is. Palantir finds a base down there at 64, up to 72 and change. Oh my gosh. All right, guys, the waves. I get it. There's a lot of waves happening right now, so I say hi to everybody, right back at you. Thank you for all of the love. Oh my gosh.
It's getting out of control.
Maybe we'll continue to do that. I don't know. That's pretty fun. There it is. New York City, stand up. Bing bong.
Let's go.
That's what I remember.
Why the bing bong? And I also saw in the chat. I saw in the chat there's someone.
Subway.
Someone threw in the Montreal over Toronto on Saturday, which was a little bit unnecessary.
Montreal over Toronto.
Canadians.
Oh
yeah.
Maybe the Leafs of man. Well, we lost 3 in a row. We beat Sheldon Keefe's New Jersey Devils last night in overtime.
But we can handle the cold. We wouldn't move an inauguration indoors because of cold weather.
Inauguration.
We wouldn't do that here in Canada.
I don't know.
What? I'm just saying.
Trudeau might do that. I don't know. Yeah, but it is, but he's still speaking.
First of all, he'd have to win an election.
Isn't he still going to speak?
Well, I'm just saying
he's not even running anymore.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he obviously, Trudeau's like, he won't get a chance to do that.
I thought Trump was still going to speak outside.
Yeah,
outside.
Yeah, because he's going to keep it real. I mean.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay.
I think it could be a security thing. Someone put that in the chat. Like, maybe it has something to do with security.
Well, is there crazy weather happening? Because I was just outside. It's gorgeous. Outside here right now.
Tomorrow's going to be nice too.
I know. And Saturday, we're 32 degrees. We're 34 degrees.
Which is like 1.
Yeah, it's 1.
1 Celsius.
It shows 1. Yeah, but then we're going down to supposed to be like minus 15 or something.
What, overnight?
On Sunday it's supposed to be.
Oh, Sunday's going to be cold? Oh, well, it's the Bills game anyways. I'm watching football.
That's the other thing about the Bills game. That's going to be interesting too, because it should be real cold there in Buffalo. But does that not, that might help Derek.
Yeah.
King Henry is going to be in the building.
They got Henry, they got Lamar. I'm not nervous at all about the Bills, for sure.
If you want to buy Neil and I a drink, you can come to King Tabs. Neil already mentioned.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Neil also already dropped that one there, so.
Well, a
lot of people might show up. That's what I'm saying. I would love for people to show up. I don't know.
TV
Live is pretty live.
I was asking my group chat someone asked in our group chat if I'm going to wear the Lee Evans jersey instead of my Josh Allen.
I have an old Buffalo Bills jersey.
I love Lee Evans, except for that one time that I needed 1 catch from Lee Evans from my fantasy matchup. We were at the game. The guy was at the game with us. 1 catch was all I needed. I was talking trash. First quarter, second quarter, no catches. third quarter, no catches. The guy had a streak of like 50 games with a catch. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, please, there was like a drop or something in the fourth quarter, and then I just never heard the end of it after that. But we're supposed to talk about some stocks.
Memories. Intel just remains doing not too much. The good thing about talking about stocks, we may or may not have Raider Trader coming on later on. I believe we do. So we'll wait to see if Raider Trader can come through. So get ready for that on the after show. Okay.
Well, sometimes he'll pop in the afternoon.
Who knows? He was there. He was on the chat the other day. So we'll see if he comes in there again. All right, Sharif, are you ready? Yes. I like the color of the pants. Me and him both got the grays on today. What are we even doing? All right, there we go. Rundown.
Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The boys are locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as cited by you. So make sure to join Joe and I during the How to Trade show during the midday and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you got to be a subscriber in order to participate in the chat. So make sure you are liking, subscribing, and sharing. Here's a look at the triple Qs, all four of the major averages in green territory, with the NQ leading the pack up 1.8%. The ES second place 1.14, and the Dow up 0.93, and lagging behind all four is the Russell 2000 up 0.33%. Let's though look at the first ticker as cited by you. Apple on the way down again. It is marginally green, up 0.25%. In case you were not with us yesterday, that is not a mistake on the chart. It was selling that aggressively on the back of information that China sales dropped sharply, about 17% year over year. And now Apple, guys, third place after Huawei and Vivo.
Yeah, Apple third place, like the San Diego Padres to get Roki Sasaki. This time the Jays are going to land the big one.
Oh, no, that's what every Jays guy always says that. We've never landed a free agent.
No, we're clearly not going to get them.
Never.
We're number 2 instead of number 3, so I'm happy with that. But Apple, it's not good to be. This is not the normal spot for them. I will say that we didn't say that. I don't know if we've said this enough about Apple. But even if they're slowing, and I get it, it's down and it's not doing very well today. Didn't do very well yesterday either. But even if they're down in China, are they not getting any credit for the fact there's a gigantic emerging market where they can still win in India? And they're divesting away from that. There's still, I understand, like, it's a huge, huge market and it's really important for them. I just wonder if it's not going to get beaten up too bad, and then we're going to get some opportunities for Apple. Where's my 200 period? He's got to zoom out. It's got to build it. There it is. Now it wants to build the 200 period moving average. We talked about this before. It feels all the world like we're headed down to the teens here on Apple. 225 should be in play if we continue this bleed this afternoon. Of course, it being a Friday, third Friday, you get options expiration. So I want to short pops in here, but I don't know if we even get one back into like 229.30. Apple still holding green, oddly enough, because it happened to close on the lows yesterday. So it's only green because it didn't do much of a late day bounce. Yikes. But I think you're going to get a buying opportunity at that 200 period moving average. It just feels like a little bit too much too fast in this reaction. And we've seen Apple get met with this and then, manage to claw its way back. But for now, penalty box.
Yeah, for sure. We wrote down today this morning on this, we just mentioned it and we said that Apple's in trouble and we're going to wait to see if it can hold that 230. Well, it was basically doing it pretty much all day. And then just in the last, the NASDAQ isn't really doing too much. It's pulling a little bit, but really started to bleed down now. And we've been just going straight to the downside. It is reminiscent of what we had seen here. There's, and I'll call up the futures in a second, but this is going. I think we should just get short right now. The futures really aren't doing anything, if anything, bouncing with a bigger red candle there for Apple. So I'm actually going to now, I'll try it. I'm going to go short there 61s just to see, excuse me, just to see what's going on right there and see if we can get some kind of a waterfall action happening. We didn't turn around until we broke through the 50 period, on this movement downside. You can always find outs. Like if we were going to say, okay, where maybe are we wrong on this? What about 229? I think I'm going to try this now into the close. We have some great longs right here and we'll probably start looking to get out of them. But maybe Apple can just continue to get sold off. We had seen this before and it didn't stop. So obviously, we're in it at the bottom now. We just put it on right here for you. But I like the trend. I'm glad we sort of talked about it. Let's see where we go now with Apple. We'll take the short and see if we can play a little bit of momentum here. There it is. Like it's not. Look, we'll hit the siren because it's working, not that it's a huge trade. We'll wait to see if it goes even lower. I'll put something out at 45 if we get there. I mean, again, the market just starting to go. We identify this right now. So here it goes. Nice downside push here for Apple. But all right, from Apple to that word to Google pop. We're in Google. Let's go see what's going on with Sharif.
Great day for Google, 1 2/3. It's off the highs though. Looks like it's a bit of a double top there. No specific headline, but as Adira mentioned during the midday, it looks like it's moving up here on the back of the Supreme Court upholding the TikTok ban. We'll have to see what Donald Trump does after he's inaugurated. But guys, widely speculated that if TikTok is in fact banned, a lot of people are going to migrate over to YouTube Shorts.
Where they should already be checking out all the wonderful content that Trader TV Live is dropping. And shout out to Andre and shout out to everyone who's been dropping all that great content that we have on YouTube Shorts. So I already am.
Yeah, exactly. Get over there, man. Get on YouTube ASAP and enjoy all the stuff that we have. Enjoy all the stuff
what our last thing was.
Yeah, get everything that YouTube is great. We talk about that over and over again, and I really like Google. Google's been, as far as long term goes, I mean, it's a position of mine, and I really do like the stock, and we talk about that all the time here on the show. Well, it was a very, very interesting, to say the least, day for me here on Google. Maybe I can zoom back out. We still do have a couple good pieces on, including getting out at that high of 197 and change. We talk about reversion. Would have been nice to have made that play up there at the top, but we were able to hold, and it created a very interesting opportunity for us, and one that I'm glad we're able to take here today live with you guys. We were long the whole time on Google. Again, we started to hear that news this morning that TikTok was not going to be banned. And then we got some different sort of stories that we're going through. I really like the support down here at the 200 period. That's what we kept on banging our head against. So we kept trying it. Then we got the news that it was going to be upheld or extended, and TikTok was still going to exist. So we started going short again underneath the 200. Then it broke. Then we just said, let's go long. And then it broke the bottom again. And then we just put in the patented trade here where if it fails one level, then retakes that same level that we like, we're going to go long, and that was happening at 194. So the minute that broke back through 194, we took it, and as they sort of say, the rest is history. Rode right up to the upside. Good trading there on Google. Again, like the stock, but you're still away from the day's high, from the all-time high up here at 201, 203. I'd like to get there. I don't know.
Before or after earnings?
After, I think. I'm not super.
I'm in after earnings too on some of these highs.
Yeah, I'm not like super positive. I mean, I'm positive about the market, but I'm not like, I don't know how to feel about what's going to happen in the first few weeks past inauguration. I'm nervous that we might have a lot of froth.
Well, you know what else? What else is interesting is there's going to be billions spent rebuilding in 2025. What companies will profit most? I was just checking out what we had on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah, that's right there.
It just happens to be the last one. So. Yeah, you shot that one yesterday.
So I dropped a name that's been really gotten killed. And
don't say anything because everyone has to go and watch it.
I'll give them one. I'll give them one. There are 4 names. And there's names that you never heard. Well,
never heard of.
Yeah, one that we never talk about. And a very interesting one, I think, is the best one. And go check it out right now.
I think we did talk about this.
Not this. This is not the best one.
Oh. Okay.
I have another. There's a much hotter name that's in that YouTube short. You better go find it immediately. It might not even be a short. It might be a reel. I don't really know the difference.
No, it's.
But okay, it's
a short.
Well, it's short and a reel, Neil.
Ooh.
Duh. Okay, so, all right. Anyways, needless to say, Nucor, I think that if there is going to be a rebuild here, the number one U.S., U.S. steel, we're sort of intertwined there. I don't know if I'd invest in X right now just because of everything that's the ongoings there. But Nucor, really gotten beat up lately. So I think if there is going to be a rebuild, it was a great question that was asked. We do the questions every week, and that was a great one. And it was just, if there's going to be this big rebuild, which companies do you look for? I would, steel, some of the other mining names as well could be into play there. We talk about Cliffs and with copper and whatnot, or FCX. But anyways, I liked Nucor, definitely basing out down here near $120. So that name's gotten a couple bumps. We filmed that a couple days ago, or yesterday, I think it was. Getting a little bit of a bump today. So anyways, off of 120, I like Nucor. Google, we sort of talked about it a little bit there. Let's just go back over. We'll talk about Bitcoin. Everyone wants to look over there. And,
105, baby.
And so be it, man. It's breaking right now again, like 105 and change. Let's see how high we can get up.
IBIT too, Sean, about to take out that $60 level. IBIT up 5%. The BlackRock spot ETF having a fantastic day. As the boys mentioned, Bitcoin well above that 100,000 likely. On the back of this headline, Donald Trump plans to designate cryptocurrency as a national priority. Just to give you some details, he plans on advising government or directing government agencies who have lawsuits against crypto companies to drop those suits. So he's also going to likely prioritize the national Bitcoin reserve. We're still light on details, guys, and things can change between now and Monday or whenever he signs this executive order.
Let's go reserve. I don't.
This Apple's going back.
The one that matters the most is, well, okay, look, all of that stuff is good, but I mean, the reserve is a big deal because once you do that, everybody's got to do it too. America decides to have a Bitcoin reserve, then China's got to buy, and okay, sorry, Apple pulled back in 229. But China's got to do it, and then everybody's got to do it. Probably Canada won't because we're not that smart. But everyone else is.
What do you mean? We're very smart.
No, I like being self-deprecating if you can't tell. But I'm sure we'll be smart enough to get in on that party. I'd like to hope so. But IBIT, okay, we're at 105,000, but this is actually not a fresh high currently. We're at 105.1. We're just pennies away if you look at IBIT from breaking out the high that got made just after noon, so like 12:30 or so. So big, strong, obviously great day for Bitcoin. What's really great about this, let me just go to my trading view chart. What I really love about this move is, why would I have both 15-minute charts? It's where sometimes these change on me and I didn't even make the change.
I always look at 15-minute charts. Maybe you put one to there for that.
You know, I'm going to go to I usually have a daily and then a 15-minute. No, but all I was getting is, it's simple. Like, we finally have broken away from this 102 half. So the charge toward the top, where a resistance, I think next is 106 half. Forget about the 108, that's a little bit of a wick. I think we're on the turn to that. I'm in Mara now off a top break, but it's, here we go. So Mara broke its high from this morning, but it's stalling out a bit. Like, Bitcoin's holding underneath that high, so I'd like to see it go. But the fact that we're not breaking out that high, I'll probably just give it to this area, like the prior bar candle here on the 15-minute, because Bitcoin hasn't made that breach of the high of the day just yet. But I love what's going on here. I think it's going to be a great year for Bitcoin, and heck, maybe even Fartcoin too. Shout out to Michael Noss.
Can't believe we're talking about Fartcoin. Yeah, shout out to Michael Noss. That was fun time when we saw that coin go from like up to $1 and change or so. All right, so let's start to ring it up a little bit here. Again, we're starting to take some more profits on Apple. We did go short. We talked about going short into that 229. I see Neil has it. We're also, right now, we're short 88s, 89s. We have been getting some out. I did just put a bid down into the 60s for Apple, just to see if we got back down to there. We saw that little move up, and we had said, where were we going to stop out possibly? You know, the 50 period was at 30s. That was going to be too high. So just a little bit of a break through 229, and I'm going to stop out. Even now, even if this retraces back up, I like the fact that we failed there and now coming back. But if we retest it, we shouldn't be retesting it. If we're retesting it, then the short is wrong. So I'm just going to, you know what, now that I think about it, I'm going to take another piece out at 77. Sometimes you put, okay, yeah, we got filled. Sometimes you put out in bids. On Apple, it shouldn't matter. But look at all the ones going through and all these D prints. Like, it's a pretty choppy, nasty, it's a dark pool world. And
before we go back, before we go back, Rigetti just broke the low of the day.
Mom spaghetti,
if it gets to 10 even, it will be SSR if it gets to 10 even. So $10.12, or maybe, yeah. If it makes a fresh low, it's going to be...
That's the spot.
Yeah, it's literally short sell restricted if it gets to 10. And obviously, that will set it up for potential SSR bounce, short sell restricted. That happens, I'm getting out of Dodge on Cubits. Because QUBT...
I'm long Rigetti.
If we get a bounce here, it would be a break of trend. So I'm going to trail this one out right here, right now, because it's starting to roll over in these quantum names. But this one's already SSR. Rigetti's about to go SSR. And when the SSR bounces happen, a lot of times you get a relief rally. So you're at some key support on these quantum names.
Yeah, I just punched long on Rigetti. We already talked about, I didn't even realize it was there. I had canceled my orders going into lunchtime and everything. But we have Rigetti written down here. It just, look, it's going to have to, we talked about it when it was down 6% off the open. We're like, it's probably going to have to go to 10%. We didn't really do the math to get into 10 bucks. So there it is, man. We just turn over to it. We don't take a full position, but we take enough of one. So here goes Rigetti. We're going to give it a little bit under 10 bucks on this play. So far, long right now at 13s. Let's see if it goes. I do have an offer at 20 and then at 25. So we'll see if we can get a little bit of a bid here happening on Rigetti. And then we're out of half of our Apple trade. I don't know, man. It wouldn't even break through 80s there. So we just covered a bunch down on that side of things. So Apple not really doing a whole heck of a lot. Rigetti on my mind now.
Tesla, 6%. Big day today for Tesla as it comes back closer to that $440 mark. Couple of headlines, really nothing market moving. If you're in Canada and you want to get basic autopilot, now is the time. They cut the price there from 4,000 Canadian dollars just down to 1,400. That's not full self-drive. That's just a basic autopilot, guys. But likely shares trading higher as the stock may be rising ahead of Monday's inauguration. It will be Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk all sitting next to each other.
La la. Murderer's Row right there. And then just I think it's either one row in front or one row behind. Sharif will be there as well.
Yeah,
so
of course.
He's going to get the inside tips and then come back to us on Tuesday and let us know what they were all talking about, of course. Wouldn't that be great if that was the case there?
Live reporting from the inauguration.
Live Sharif at the inauguration. That'd be great.
I'm sure you.
All right, so yeah, just all jokes aside, Apple's coming back up to the upside. Our stop is right here, 229.11s. If it breaks higher than that, then we're out. We said this name could potentially go against us after that fail. Okay, well, there it is. It breaks above it. Our order takes a minute to go out, and we get punched out right there at 09s, actually. But it did break 10s, so legitimate out on that one. So we'll fail on that last little reload there of Apple. Worked for a little bit, but not really. And then downside there as Rigetti goes into the 20s. So that's starting to work out for us. Okay, there goes Apple. So that program, I guess, turned off right now as the futures go on. We only tried it because we had seen the waterfall. And then once the waterfall kind of stopped there, we were in and out. Not good, though. We wound up down on it.
Not to get paranoid or anything, but I had the same trigger. And my message came, like, I don't know, a couple seconds after.
You got out though.
Oh yeah.
No, I just saw it.
It just took a couple seconds.
It's like okay, punching me out.
No, if I say the message, it's like you're filled when it goes, but the message is it like hitting your blotter. Like I know I'm out, but you hit the blotter, and then you guys see the nice little triangle on the chart after that as well. But we just got that push through. A couple of things happened. Obviously, you just saw Apple, but QUBT, that's Quantum Computing Inc. Because I have this bad habit of saying qubits, and I say that for QBTS and for QUBT, which is nonsensical because they're two different stocks. No, but that just trailed out. Rigetti went SSR, so I'm getting out of that short, obviously. Tesla, what is there to even say about Tesla except for, just give it the old power up. It's a rocket right now, and you can want the 50-period moving average all you want, but it just never got down underneath 375 to give you any money fills down there. It's been riding this 50, and now all of a sudden you just kind of feel like maybe we're headed back into those highs on Tesla. The rocket is real, but also is Palantir. Whatever. Real tier. Can't make that one rhyme. But Palantir having a great day as well.
Just real quick here. We are out some more Rigetti at 20s. So I just wanted to say, I didn't even realize you were short Rigetti, but it's right here. Right
now.
I
wasn't short Rigetti. I was short.
QBTS.
No, QUBT. Quantum. Now I already forget the name of it.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just playing off of $10. Like, I don't, down 10%. It doesn't, bode, it's not a great story here for Quantum today. I don't think that this is necessarily going to pop up too huge. I just thought for the risk to reward, it's just 1-to-1. We were long right here. We just got some out at 20. We're going to get out breaking lower. So it's not even a 1-to-1 risk yet trade on this one. So I'd be very, very, very careful. All right. So we can talk about Rivian. Rivian I marked down today for the first time in a long time on the sticky note. And the first break was the pre-market high break that we had talked about and we liked. So that worked. So we check marked that box. And then down here, we also marked down 1450 as a potential bottom area just from yesterday, it being roughly the top yesterday. So we make that trade, and then we reloaded. We're almost out of it all. We reloaded it down here. Like, look at us, let it fall right into our spot. Like, being patient today, wow, for this, straight up. Good breaks into VWAP again. We did hold a little bit, again, for that top break, out there, and then out once it breaks that bottom of 50s. So that was a 55 fill. So out there at the end of the day on Rivian, but a good trade, and yeah, I think it's worth probably getting back into at some point. They had that loan deal today, but with the market up one and a bit, Rivian, you know. Still up, but not giving me the vibes like where I'm thinking that this is a must long right now. If anything, I think it might be a VWAP short. So if we get back up to 14 and change, probably a short there on Rivian. I'd much rather trade Tesla. So
better than Polestar.
Yeah, I just, you know, like this is going to be a interesting close. Like, I don't really know what to expect here. The market's kind of going to, well, we'll talk about that as we go. Let's go over about Palantir right now. Palantir, I mean, great stock.
4 1/4 in the green, Sean, and even your friend here, Thomas Blakely from Cantor Fitzgerald, initiating coverage on Palantir. Kind of interesting here with a neutral rating, but a healthy price target of around $72. No real details given on this one, though, guys. But coming into the highs, 4 1/4, Palantir, good look.
Yeah, so
just going.
We did, yeah. Bitcoin's just going and going and going right now. 105.8 right now, like just not nonstop.
Should have a poll.
All right. Look, these are the plays we want to do. This one got a little excited. We're going to have to judge Palantir a little bit better and maybe use less shares, I would think, so that we don't punch out. But I really want these kind of names at 200 period moving averages, especially right off the open, especially when you've been up all pre-market. I do feel like we can pull back in. It's why we look at Tesla and Apple, and sometimes we're able to dip by names, look at NVIDIA today and so on and so forth. Well, this had that exact same trade again. It breaks $70. We give it 4 cents. So we wind up getting out basically at $69.95. Then in that same minute, so we averaged it down in, right? But the thing is, our long was right here. First long at 70.70. Then we got more down here at 70.25s. All right, so that's 70.25. Then it breaks 70 and we get out. And then even before I can't even, like, the trade is if it breaks a key level, and I still like the stock and the futures are fine, and you can get killed doing this, right? But I'm only talking about it now because it's been working. Worked yesterday, worked today on NVIDIA, worked today again on Palantir. If it retakes that same level that you like, then I'm buying it back using its most recent low as it's out. So we didn't have to do anything with this Palantir trade. It rebroke 70 and then boom, just goes to the upside. So it will actually be P&L number one will be Rivian, and then this will be right behind it today with a big trade. Not Google, right? This is actually was much better because we had much better risk management. Our long was only long at 70.25, and then we got out for a 30-cent hit. Then it just went. And our first outs on the 70 long were right here at 70.25s. So we really use risk to reward to our advantage on this one. Our first outs were the same as what we took on the hit. So then it just started to go, and then PAMP Central. We're going to get out here if it breaks 72, back down to the downside. So right now, pretty good trade here on the day for Palantir. Let's see if it wants to continue to work out. But 72, like 71.90 or so, break down, and we're out of Palantir. That's it.
Yeah, we're all on the Palantir train today, and I'm going to get to this BTCT for everybody in a quick little second. I know Sharif was all over that one. I just pulled it up to have a quick little look at it, but this was a day where my number one idea I couldn't trade. There's clearly some data issues at the end, I think, in New York because people have been reporting late fills. I had bad quotes. I couldn't even quote Morgan Stanley this morning. I just couldn't. I had no data on it. But Palantir essentially was just 70. It broke 70 yesterday, over under at the open. Thankfully, the tape was okay on Palantir. I can tell you my level 2 wasn't the best, but it ended up not mattering because it just, like Sean said, it bounced the 70 level. It will be interesting to have seen if this had completely broken down, like what it would have looked like for us and like how our stops would have worked and all that kind of good stuff. But it did make the wick and hold. There was also a reversion trade as well off of the second take. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because it came back into VWAP, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to reload here, but I had too tight of a stop. Like if I'm going to reload, I should have given it to at least underneath VWAP. but I essentially just pulled it out like flat, and then you can see it continue to go. What's great about this is we haven't really looked at the higher time frame, but if you look at the 15 minute, there's nothing out of order about this move on Palantir. What I mean by that is, like, you're getting the same type of bounce every single day. It'll give it back. Give you that Christmas tree or whatever, where it's pulling back almost the entire way and then still going again the next day. Pulling back almost the entire move, regaining the high, pulling back the entire way, and then still breaking a high. So no matter how much selling there is when it gaps up in this week, it's still managed to make a fresh high the next day. Even when it gives the whole move back, it's still breaking the prior day high the next day. So whether it's a technical trade back into prior high or technical trade back into prior support, it's still making a fresh high every single day this week. That's incredibly bullish. So let's give it some respect. And this BTCT, which is BTC Digital, is a powerhouse today. I know Sharif was trading it. It's gone, what we want to call it, parabolic's an overused term, but it's definitely going a little bit ham to the upside. It is a little bit of a risky trade up here, especially, okay, we're back at 105.3, so we kind of failed at 106. And this is at a pretty obvious resistance spot. 50 period on the daily, and if you look back to the last time it was at this 820 price, bit of a rejection, kind of a double rejection here to get you back into the low. So I'd be a little bit cautious with this BTCT at these highs, especially with that pullback. As a matter of fact, let me just go quickly to Mara, because Mara just tagged the high of the day, got filled in front of the high of the day, and then broke local support. So I'm out of Mara, and that's with Bitcoin back at 105.3. So we are pulling back a little bit here on Bitcoin. Just got to be careful because Bitcoin obviously at 106 is a big move. You got a lot of room back into the local support, which is technically that 102.5, 103 zone. So I'll be looking for VWAP on any retracements. I'm going to go double check Apple because I don't, like yesterday, I kind of feel like getting away from Apple too early is a mistake. On the short side, that is. So we're going to let it get back into maybe 229.5. That was the double bottom from the midday, and then you had some resistance in here. If it can do a curl off 229.5, I still want to look for the shorts in Apple. I'm not really convinced that it's a long yet.
All right, we're going to, we bought some more. We just get into a new position right now, right here on Google. So we're long right now. It's VWAP. It's right here. I think the trade should be okay. The only problem is, and we've talked about this, sitting here trying to think about new strategies. Talk to people in the thought. Scott, yeah, I'm in Rigetti. The thing about Rigetti is, all right, we could talk about it because it's moving around. You guys want to talk about it. So what I was going to do about the other name there was you got to watch out what this market's going to do and which way it's going to trend. And in the afternoon, it's very, very tough. Chasing moves is not the right thing, in my opinion, on some of these mega cap names. So I'm going to be very, very careful with what we wind up doing there on Google. But okay, so Rigetti, I thought I was sitting here. Yeah, so I'm on the bid right now at actually at 04. So if we go down one more penny, we'll try it. And then I'm going to be tapping out of this one, Scott. If we break below this $10 mark, it's actually not as great on this chart. It was basically some of these lows. If we sort of zoom back out, there's such a gap basically from where we are here into like where some of the other volume was conducted. And that's like around $8 at $8.50. So if you want to hold it, that's 10.10 right there. What just happened? Nothing. Okay, good. That breaking spot is 980. So that was something that I was looking at, 980, 975. But I already have my stop in right here, breaking 990. So that's going to be the stop for me. And our best out on this whole thing was in the 20s. So we're not putting a whole heck of a lot of risk on this name right here, but we're trying to put a little bit because we do know that at the end of the day, and we just said don't chase these big cap names that could just push certain levels. Maybe we go over to names like this that are actually doing volume and give us reasons and levels and potential to go the other way. But Rigetti's been such a good play for the long, like anybody that bought some of this dip. I wonder, will they hold some of these wins into the weekend? And as we continue to fall out here, is just looking at it, okay, we're down 10%. Well, we made 50% a couple of days ago. So where does the greed sort of come into play, which is why we looked at that max pain area, which was 975 or whatever. So that would be my little look there, Scott H. So you can have a quick look yourself and see what levels you like. But that's what I'm trying to do right now on that. So Google, all right, nothing. I thought it might have just wicked up there because I saw a little bit of a movement. No, not really. The best it got there was back into O's. Okay, so it was not that. All right, so we'll wait to see. 109.07. Let's put an offer there just for a little bit, just because we should. We'll put 5%. And then honestly, if we get the 200 period, then we'll maybe get out of 25%, and then we can wait to see if Google in the futures want to make us actually some money here. Because right now, I mean. Okay, perfect. So that's a perfect example.
Yeah, the wrong way.
No, but we need to. What I was saying is we should trade names that are moving.
Yeah,
instead of just like hoping that something happens.
Like this just broke down and broke the low of the days, triple bottom. There's no news. I know Dare is looking into it right now. This could maybe it's just like a sell. I mean, sell the news, like sell the inauguration bump, I guess. But it's worth mentioning. This did like yesterday at the end of the day. In the last 15 minutes, DJT dropped $3 in the last 15 minutes just yesterday. So it could just be a little bit of spooking on this. People are getting spooked out. Then it gapped right back up. But it's been selling from pretty much the same spot. I thought it was a good long out and about above that high. Obviously, we took it in here. It couldn't break the prior high, and then we sort of got out for a flat trade. But catching a little bit of a bid here is DJT. It did try to, when it did this before yesterday, it did try to bounce and then roll over again.
DJT.
If that's the case, oh, right, you got to pay for locates. Okay, so I'll go do that in a second, be able to trade it. But Apple just came back into, I'll just zoom in. I'm not going to bother getting rid of that wick. Just came back into that 229.5, shorted it here. If it breaks that $0.50, I'll get out. I feel like if it breaks the $0.50, you just got to go back to waiting for 230.25. That's where the best short started to come in there for Apple a little bit earlier. But I'm going to get some locates on DJT. That's absolutely moving. And it moved $3 in the last 15 minutes yesterday. If it's going to do anything like that, got to be on it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to do right now. We are long Rigetti right here right now. So that's part of the play, right? Is to be able to be aggressive enough to get out when you're right. And we just popped a little bit there into 15. So let's put something out in and around the 15 mark. Let's put 10% at 15, and then maybe 20% or so at 17s, just in case we do get another bump into this area. There it is. Let's go. Sorry, did I say 15 or 14? There it is, 14s. Hopefully I said 15s, because here comes 15s right now on this play. So far, so good right now on Rigetti. Great reload. Thanks, Scott H., for asking about that stock. And now hopefully some of you just saw the sort of risk to reward that we were just talking about. We just got long at 04s. So again, not all trades are built the same. So you can't always look at that as a case like, okay, we're long at 04, but this is like what's happening right now. It's 10 cents in the money. You got to look at average prices. We always get questions about like our average price keeps changing all the time, and it's because it does first in, first out. So it's like it doesn't necessarily just average because it doesn't know when I'm going to stop buying. So it's hard to sort of give an average price because that's just not how it works for prop trading and loss for top and all that kind of stuff and how it's all figured out here.
Although
at real trading, yeah, go ahead.
In theory, you could. Like there could be. I'm just thinking out loud. There could be like a button on your blotter that's like if you. Like boom,
like
that's
a reset?
like that's the average price, and then sort of fit it to that.
Yeah, but then the minute you buy something, then you gotta untag it or whatever.
Yeah, maybe whatever. It's easy enough to just sort of say like, this is my average price. You know it if you get more in, and then you sort of work from that. Like every trader does it. It's just that it's going to end up changing on our chart. So I've just paid for locates on DJT. Going to look to see where this. If it goes back into the prior low, that's 41 and change. So that would be one spot to look for a mean reversion in a curl, but someone just mentioned to me that CHRO is we got a halt on this CHRO. Why it's not grayed out? Is it halted? Okay, so it's clearly halted. It just doesn't look like it on my level 2. But yeah, it is halted for sure. Volatility halt in CHRO. That's over on the Amex or the NYSE ARCA. What's weird is my halt scanner seems to think only 2 things have halted all day. That cannot be right. There's no way.
I haven't seen too many people put in halts today.
There's no way there's only 2 halts all day long. Either way,
you wouldn't think so.
I don't know if we get updated tap data on NYSE ARCA because it's just saying 212 where it closed. It's done 3 million in volume, so that looks absolutely fine. We'll keep an eye on that one if there is going to be a big move. Sometimes the Halt scanner is going to be able to tell you where it will be. The other thing it's going is this BTCT it just broke the high and continues to rally. This is still going to the upside. Super, super strong name, this BTCT. For now, my eyeballs are on DJT, looking for a little curl off this 41. And sort of why I'm looking for a continuation short is just what it did yesterday. Like it fell and it continued to go yesterday. Like it did a couple of bounces, but most of those were pretty solid curls. And we'll see if we can do another one off this 41. I'm going to let it trade into 41 even and then try to take it. If there's something else that's moving, you guys let us know. Like from what I can see, this BTCT and DJT seem to have the most volatility this afternoon. Tony said, Rigetti, take your spaghetti. My daughter doesn't even like spaghetti. It's the weirdest. Most kids love spaghetti and meatballs.
You might want to get her looked at.
She's all about the meatballs. She's all about pasta. She'll eat spaghetti.
Yeah, I know.
It's just if we're doing pasta, she's like, why is it not penne?
Right.
That's her.
Oh,
it's
okay.
like, why are we not eating penne pasta? But for us, with my wife and I, it's like you like to switch it up a bit. There's a million different types of pasta you can have. Can't be eating the same. It gets kind of boring eating the same pasta every single time. We have pasta probably at least once a week. And then if you're always eating penne pasta, I just don't find that a heck of a lot of fun. But kids will eat the same thing over and over again. And sometimes you just got to lean into that.
Yep.
Straight up. Because it's just
I agree with that, I mean, especially if it's something half decent for them.
Yeah, just whatever.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, rigatoni. I like the rigatoni. For sure. Okay, so
best
yeah,
ravioli. I'll never have ravioli like that again.
Oh, ravioli is so good. Well, every pasta, lasagna. Oh my God, don't even get me started. All right, so just quickly, there's absolutely nothing happening on Google, so I don't what? When's the last time? Like, is Google being bought out for like $196 or something? Like, this is literally not
accumulation
moving at all. Well, yeah, that's why I'm here, trying to see if it breaks, and if it doesn't break, well, whatever way it breaks, I'm going to get out, and I'm not going to go short because I do prefer the long. We're still above. I mean, VWAP is still all the way here. So I'm not going to go short on this accumulation, but I will try it and see if it goes the other way. You know what? On that note, I'm going to cancel my offers. I mean, let's see if it goes. Let's just go to 15s and wait to see if that happens. Our stop on this is a break of 80, so it's like it's almost going to stop out actually right now. We'll take another average right here at VWAP, and then down below that we'll break out of it. But see, this is the kind of talk that you have to. We said earlier, like trading names that are actually moving, and here goes rigatoni again to the downside. So we're right back to 04. But you see, like, get some out, right? And so we're trying to do that. We're not out of that many of the shares. We're only out of about 30% of them, not even. So out there, average in. So right here, this may go as well. And there's Google, like it just goes right there. Doesn't even average us in. I was 1 cent away from getting averaged in.
That's bizarre.
And then that happened. But doesn't, you know what?
Apparently I don't say pasta right now. I'm just going to say it that way to bug people. Pasta? How am I supposed to say it? Is it a Canadian
The way you
thing?
don't say it is right.
Okay, pasta.
Yeah. Pasta.
Pasta. I say pasta.
You do.
Okay.
I mean, I just didn't want to. Your munja cake.
No, it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I got no issues. I don't take myself that seriously.
No,
but now I will always say pasta.
See, that sounds bad. But yeah.
Oh, of course. But now I'm just messing with you.
It doesn't matter. With
now
me.
on.
I was letting it go. I'm fine with it, man.
We should just go trade some Nio.
Chef Joe's getting upset in there.
Let's go trade some Nio.
I'm not upset.
Here.
Man. I'm not upset.
I
mean, I'm all about that. So
all about?
As
if GME.
What now? Tank City or? Yeah, see? Sometimes you just think about those things, and there she goes.
I had actually, we didn't go over. I had the top. I think I had the top on GME here, but can I zoom out? Yeah, I can zoom out on this chart just to be able to show you. So right in like this, there's a double top. There's a lower high. I'm like, if it goes into any of these lower highs, and then this is the VWAP entry right in here where it roll over. Like if it goes into that range and curls, I was just going to short it, but it caught a bid, little double bottom bid here and trailed out. Of course, now it's at VWAP. I'm willing to bet you any move that happened up on AMC, I didn't look at the AMC chart, but I promise you, free money. This is free money. AMC was trash all day long, and then GME catches a random bid. AMC goes to the penny into prior resistance and then just reverts. You could probably have just taken that and sat on that offer and risk a half a cent to 1 cent and then just sort of work that to the downside. It's done 12 million shares today, so it's not like it's even all that bad. So just a couple of things that we're in. All right, Apple, I mean, it's trying to roll back over. You know the difference between Apple before and Apple after? Like Apple before was bleeding to the downside. Like you'd get into short and it would just bleed. Now it's really struggling to go 10, 15 cents. It could be a Friday thing. It also could be some strength that's coming into Apple. But we'll just try to respect it.
Was that an okay joke there? I said a worm.
Ooh.
Because like Apple
worm?
got a worm in it.
Big Worm was one of my favorite characters from Friday.
From Friday, I was going to say, yeah.
What a big worm.
Go get that bike. Okay, so I just, there it is. So I don't know, like Google, again, we're not going to cry over spilled milk here. It was not a big trade, but it does go back up there. We get stopped out at 70. On the break of 80, we got 79. So it's not like this is an oh my gosh situation here or anything like that. But it is a downside push and then right back into the level again and now right back to the upside. So I don't know. The futures did us dirty a little bit there, went down and then right back to the upside. But it's not, I don't feel any kind of ways about this. Like we got out of it. We kind of sort of anticipated something like that potentially happening. So not much going on there at all with Google, but it did fall out. We could go back in it. That's generally how we lose, is trying to like fight these trends. We do not need to do that.
This Bit Digital is, it doesn't even.
Starting to go, Rigetti's trying to go back upside of it.
It doesn't matter what's going on. It just keeps on going and going and going. It just went parabolic again on consistent volume. It's getting out of hand. Where is the, so it's powered through that resistance zone on the daily. Where are we going here? 11, maybe. Obviously 10. 10's a big psychological number on a Friday, obviously. But, I mean, the last time it consolidated was really, really good. It's 245, so you still have plenty of time for it to go for a short.
Big worm.
Big perm as well. He had that crazy perm. Jared Tweedle, you ever seen the Friday cartoon? I found that when I was in Iraq.
I had never found
There's a cartoon.
Friday cartoon. Well, there's
Like the movie?
Boondocks?
No, Boondocks is it.
No, I know it's a different beast, but I just
Boondocks is on a different level.
Yeah. I'm just wondering if that's
And if I could sing the man,
the Obama one.
Yo, that won't.
riding.
The Boondocks to me is one of these. It's one of the greatest satirical cartoons ever made. Shout out to Aaron Magruder. And he,
what's up, Aaron?
when you know you're legitimate to your craft, like the only place, I'm pretty sure there was a point that the Boondocks was only the cartoon airing on BET, and he did an entire episode mocking BET, the station he was on, and they canceled them, which is a lot of trash. It was a great episode, but yeah, I'm jumping out of Apple. No reload. We've taken it a few times.
I might reload my coffee.
But basically now flat because every time, just paid fees. Every time it goes down, we get some out and then it breaks the top. We get some out and then it breaks the top. And we're already 1 for 2 going into it as well because I had it on a couple of shorts up here at 230. I think we should be waiting for the 230s at this point because Apple's looking a little bit strong. Jared Tweedle, an actual animated series for Friday. I find it hard to believe that I don't know that. I'm a big fan of Friday. I should easily know that one, but I don't. So shout out to you guys. That GME is really bleeding. Really, really bleeding to the downside.
Did we ever get, maybe we can go to Adara for that, like did we ever get what exactly was going on with that GME or was it just fugazi or what was going on there? Because
I went short GME because I didn't see anything.
Nothing, Adara's just telling us nothing that she was able to find out there. And again, I think that might have just been one of those Friday love fest moments where, it's trying to get going, people trying to, support the stock and get back to the upside there. Oh, there's a new game being released, maybe.
That's news.
Yeah, so maybe there's something. What is it? What's the new game? All right, Rigetti down here at 10 again, bouncing, just in case you guys are looking at our GTI trying to do something. Anyways, what's up, Adara?
Yeah, there's a couple things here. For one, thank you for that one, Ramin. Ramin did bring this to us earlier today. There were some people on social media getting really excited about the launch of a new Pokemon-related game here from GameStop, but the launch is on Monday, and the posts that people were getting excited about, none of them were really from when we had that move. There was one post from GameStop more generally about deals that came out around 12 p.m. We had the move about 2 p.m. And a lot of the other posts actually came out days before. So nothing right as that move happened. But there's actually a new catalyst as well for Delta and DraftKings to be aware of. So apparently Democratic senators urging Delta Airlines and DraftKings to pause their in-flight gambling partnership. Was not aware this partnership existed, but apparently Delta and DraftKings have an in-flight gambling partnership that apparently there are some senators trying to block guys. Back to you.
You heard about that? You knew they had
No, why do they have an in-flight?
Well, I know why they do.
People are like crazy.
I know why they
I know.
do.
I mean, no, they have Wi-Fi there. I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think they should be allowing these guys to be gambling in flight, honestly, because I think it's a safety issue. Like, people lose a lot of money and make bad decisions when they're gambling. And being able to like make some bets on the flight and getting frustrated with like event outcomes.
And already all you can do is drink on the flight.
I'm not. I mean, I love DraftKings. I mean, we've talked about how much I like the stock, but I don't actually. I feel like I feel like a little bit nervous about that situation. Like, I don't want the guy sitting beside me like having a nervous breakdown because his team, he's like betting 4th and goal here, and so I don't know. Not on a flight for this guy. I mean, I didn't even know it existed, so it doesn't matter. Sometimes not knowing something is better than knowing.
The Canada-U.S. hockey game when we were in university.
Yeah.
I was on the way back. A flight from Florida during the gold medal game.
Right.
It was a bunch of these Canadians and Americans on the flight, and we were getting updates from like nobody. I don't think anyone was Wi-Fi or anything, but like we were getting updates from the pilot.
Yeah.
Like over the thing, you would say what was going on.
Me and Neil were in school. We didn't even have internet, so don't
like
worry.
It was wild, and then you see like one half the plane would cheer, and the other half, everyone got off the flight, got their bags, and then went to the airport bar. Just had a swath of people around. It was amazing. If you add in-flight betting on that game, there would have been problems.
Let the pilot gamble.
Problem.
Yeah, I know I'm gambling right now. Just like I don't want people day trading on flights either. I don't know.
I would think that's not a good idea.
I just feel, but why not? I mean, what's the difference? Like, I don't know. It's
reliability of connection for that.
Wow.
Like that's a different level of you put a bet on, you go to DraftKings and you make your bet. Like there's nothing, you drop connection, you don't know what's happening. Who cares? But if you're trading and you lose connection, that's a bit of a different story. Like that's just no.
I trade on flights. Someone. So what's up, Bill Love? All right, so Bill Love showing some love to DraftKings and trading as well. Yeah, I mean, I think to each their own. I mean, if everybody wants to trade on and do so on and so forth on a plane, no doubt about that one.
As long as there's no snakes on the plane, I think you're good.
Yeah, there are a couple snakes on the planes, though, I heard. Samuel there. Yeah, I got to rewatch that. I know, wasn't there a remake of Snakes on a Plane or like a Snakes on a Plane Part 2 or something like that? I think there was.
If there is, I didn't see it. No, they remade Anaconda. There was a second Anaconda.
Oh, was there? I think there was a second Snakes on a Plane.
Hot trash.
Can't believe I went and looked at that stupid Google. Like it's doing the same. It's doing the same thing. It's not doing anything.
Well,
all right. So there's DraftKings. Like that happened. This story. I mean, 1:30 is when we started to pop up there on DraftKings. That would have maybe seemed like a negative story, and it's not really doing too much of anything right now. So DraftKings right there, good job there by Adara talking about that. And it was UAL, was it? I think. Delta. Okay, so it was DAL. So let's have a quick look to see if anything's happening with Delta. The airline business has been a beast of one this whole year, heading back, I guess, not necessarily year to date, but over the last 12 months, maybe even 24 months. How far does that go back? Look at these moves. This is back to October of 23, all the way up, back in, faded, and then boom, right there to the top. UAL looks great too. AAL breaking the top. So a lot of these names just continue to go higher there as flights. And I think people are back on that vacation tip a little bit.
Yeah, but
as I guess the strong U.S. dollar makes a lot of sense to travel with U.S. dollars. So that
and it's going to get even stronger.
Yeah, and that could be why the part of the bump up here in some of these airlines is they get more and more international travel Americans, especially UAL, Delta, starting to have more flights in and about the United States there and outbound. But I guess it would be more the foreign flights would have the bigger.
A couple things. Is it just me, or does it look like on this shot that I am sitting way closer than you?
I was leaning.
I think it's off. Anyways, we got a super chat.
In chill mode here.
And we'll get to that super chat for sure. But
we are getting wings, apparently.
Bilbo says more snakes on a plane. I don't know about that. Bill Love.
Is that a move?
I'm on a flight right now. I'm on a flight right now. That's what I love to see. Appreciate you. And game day football, 100 on the Bills on Sunday. Let's go. Of course, let's go Buffalo. But the super chat was any insight on WonderFi? I will admit I have not pulled that one up. You listed it here for the, I think you just listed it on the OTC. It does trade here in the TSX. So
it did list on the OTC? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you put up, they put up WONDF, but I mean, I'll just pull it up in Toronto because that's where I usually look at it. I don't necessarily have any insight on it other than hey, we can all see what's happening in Bitcoin, so it's been in an upward trend since, right? Like you go back to November, and this is doubled up from the lows. So I think that makes a heck of a lot of sense for anyone that doesn't know. WonderFi, crypto name here in Canada. It does trade on the OTC market, so you can trade it on the OTC.
Okay, here we
It's been
go.
Trending up with Bitcoin, looking very good with a bit of a break. I don't know if I love the topping tail candle that it's got in here, but good look on the daily chart for WonderFi.
All right, it's time for Gambling Live with Neil and Sean, brought to you by Trader TV Live, not ESPN.
I'm so biased, but
All right, so here we go. The first game starting tomorrow. We do have your Houston Texans, of course, if you are in Houston. Your Houston Texans going against your Kansas City Chiefs.
Go Houston.
8-0 at home is Kansas
Go
City.
Houston.
Yeah. So if Houston wins is basically a Super Bowl ticket to you guys if you win the game against Buffalo. So I think this is going to be a great one. I think the -8, I think it should be much more. I think the Chiefs steamroll them easily there on the, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Ramin, for that one. So I'm on Chiefs -8. You guys.
my brain says you're 100% right.
Then that's what we're going to go with.
My heart says absolutely
Well-
not. The Houston Texans are going to upset
Okay.
the Kansas City Chiefs, paving the way for the Buffalo Bills to win on Sunday and head to the Super Bowl. But no, I don't think that Houston has that much of a chance.
No.
I think the defense is way too much
It's
for
5-1.
for Stroud.
It's 5-1. So the money line right now is -500. So
the
if
defense-
you're dropping any dollars on Kansas City, you got to put down 500 to win $100. So not a great situation there for that one. And then 360, so 3.6 to 1 right there for the Houston Texans to win that one. And then we have an interesting game that I think is going to be pretty interesting. I've actually in my DraftKings, well, it's not DraftKings account, but in my account, I teased both of these down. So I'm on the Kansas City Chiefs like -2.5. I'm on Detroit Lions -2.5. I think they're going to beat the Commanders. I think that could get close.
Oh, I like the over there.
That's a good one. Yeah,
like
over.
the
Yeah,
over.
could be a lot of points scored in that game. So over 55.5. And of course, you don't have to worry about weather because you're in Detroit.
Exactly, yeah.
So that could be wicked opportunity there. And David Montgomery back. So they get their other running back to match with Jahmyr Gibbs. So that's kind of like thunder and lightning there, although they're both quick guys. All right, so there we go. That's that. I like Detroit Lions, but I tease that down with Kansas City Chiefs, giving you basically almost 1-1 if you bring them both down about 6 points. All right, and then this is, so to me, these are the better
you got to take Terry McLaurin for an anytime touchdown.
Anytime touchdown here, you think? Oh, up here.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think you could get a backdoor cover, which means that the Washington Commanders could be down like, let's just say 17 or 15 or 14 with a couple minutes left. They get a little dirty touchdown and cover that. So that could be what happens there. Which is why I have Detroit a little bit more aggressively than that. Okay, people are super chatting now, so that's good. We'll get to those in a minute. Someone just super chatted about Bitcoin, so good job on Bitcoin right now. 105,750. You know, Drake keeps betting Bitcoin on all these games all the time. Like, this guy's a maniac.
Well, he has a better chance of making money than the lawsuit, so, you know.
I don't know what's going on there. The guy had to pull his kids out of school and everything. It's ridiculous. Okay, so here we go. Philadelphia Eagles -6. Look, I took the Rams a long time ago to possibly, not a long time ago, at the beginning of the playoffs, which was just last week, to win the Super Bowl at like plus 70 to 1 or something like that.
They might lose to the Bills.
Yeah, so it's actually, oh no, they're not going to make the Super Bowl. I was just hoping that they would get to this game. And if they win, then all of a sudden that future you can cash it out. So I am cheering the Los Angeles, kind of like options, you know.
Right.
A little bit of options there on the Rams. So I have an option on them winning the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, by the way, here it is right here. Super Bowl winners. See, now you're up to 18 to 1 for the Rams. So we have them much higher than that. So that's come back in. It's
but those odds are trash.
Well, these are the real odds. I mean, whether or not they're trash or not, I don't know. But there's Baltimore and Buffalo, basically the same odds, man. 4 to 1 and 5 to 1 and change there for Buffalo v. everybody else. And then, of course, we know what's going to happen here. It's now Bills favored, Neil. This keeps going back and forth right now. Oh, no, here's the spread right here. Sorry. The open was Bills favored. The spread right now, -1.5, favor of Baltimore.
We know what's going to happen.
That over-under is interesting. I think this could probably go over that number, too.
Josh Allen's going to get the ball last, and it's going to be some
Better
kind of 3rd and short, 4th and short. You know what it is. He's going to go out of the shotgun, and he's going to do some ridiculous magic. And
I hope so.
You all know how that story ends. We'll see. But thank you for we got a bunch of super chats here. Let's just quickly get to them.
Let's go. We're getting
Vasil Momentco, guys. Can you please have a look at NVIDF,
PQ.
which I can't even quote. Seems to be shuffling, not going anywhere. I don't even have that quote, I don't think. NVVID. I don't have that quote, so I can't pull it up. Apologies there, Vasil. David in the chat, I let my AI shark vacuum pick sports by putting post notes on the ground, not stocks. Okay, Tenny for the spicy wing stop challenge. TikTok it before it's gone. I don't know if we're going to actually do the spicy wings. No, I mean, Dara doesn't like the spicy. First of all, like Wingstop spicy wings are not, like they're not, no, they're literally nothing. Like that's not, if we were doing that, there's a place here locally called Duff's that actually has 500,000 on the Scoville. And that's legit. Like those are pretty good. I've had them a few times, but like Wingstop, that's nothing. We can do that in a heartbeat. Swoldemort, Bitcoin, 153,000 tokens. Let's go. I think we'd all be pretty happy to be able to see that. But thank you very much for the super chats. We appreciate all of you. And to get back into the chat here for sure. What is NVIDIA doing? NVDA, as I say it out loud. I'm now playing, you guys could see, even DJT doesn't want to do more than a 20-cent range. So I'm just trying to short the top end and get out the bottom end of the range now on DJT, which is like 40.80 into 40.60. And if it breaks lower, fantastic. But you're not getting a ton of action. The market's starting to roll back over. Here comes NVIDIA back into VWAP. So there's a little something happening on NVIDIA. I don't know if this is going to drag DJT with us. NVIDIA's strong day today. Obviously a bit of a bull flag. There. At 3 o'clock, I always get that same message, even though I don't trade the Australian markets. Now, NVIDIA, strong bull flag, but you can see where the resistance is. Basically, yesterday's top, we can't break. So a bit of a resistance spot here, 138.5 on NVIDIA. Not much it can do with it. Mara got underneath VWAP. Did it really? Bitcoin's still at 105.7. See, this doesn't... Like, what's going on, Mara? It's a good thing we got out of that high. Like, Mara's all the way back down at 20. Want to see what IBIT's doing? That. This is the problem with the miners, everybody. Even when they want to go, they just can't continue. This is now bleeding down, despite the fact Bitcoin is doing absolutely nothing and just chilling at the highs. So Mara taking on the chin. I bet you MSTR is doing just fine. Yeah, that's only now starting to go back in. Wow, gotta find a place to maybe jump into that. I think, double check if we have free locates. So again, just the same range here on DJT, 40.80 into 40.60, and then see if we can hold for the low. So just get my offers back in there. And I'm going to, I know I paid for locates because I was in it a bit earlier. Yeah, this is underneath VWAP. Maybe a continuation short under VWAP here. Mara's really bleeding. Did something happen on Mara here? Bitcoin's doing nothing, and the stock is just flushing at this point. This was strong all day long, program buying. Yeah, no story on Mara. Let's see the first maybe bounce. See if we can roll over after the first bounce. I'm thinking the way I felt about DJT. Let's see it catch its first bid and then try to roll it over on Mara. Good thing we got those locates.
Yeah, exactly. We are, fly, Eagles, fly. That might be, they're a little bit of, I think there's some value there in taking them for the Super Bowl there, just because the pedigree, Detroit, obviously.
They could be trouble for Detroit.
So the two, franchises in the NFL, unfortunately, that have had least success you guys have had success in the playoffs.
Well, we've been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Detroit is what I was going to say. Definitely, I feel for those guys. Although they're in the NFC North, I don't feel that much for them. But at the end of the day, them versus Buffalo, at least that would be something for the NFL and get both those franchises their first championship. That would be kind of cool. Okay, Dara, let's go.
By prop firm Match. Are you a skilled trader that's lacking capital? Prop firms offer the opportunity to trade with simulated funds, which allow you to showcase your trading skills, access account sizes ranging from 5,000 to 500,000, and you can start with as little as 20 bucks. But with over 500 prop firms out there, how do you find out which ones are the best? That's where Prop Firm Match comes in. Prop Firm Match is your go-to platform for finding and comparing only the most esteemed firms with proven track records and consistent long-term payout histories. Access over 4,500 verified reviews, explore payout histories, and discover the best current deals, all in one place. Scan the QR code or visit propfirmmatch.com today. Find the perfect prop firm for you. Back to you.
All of these major, pretty much all of these major tech names are doing nothing right now at all.
It's a Friday before a long weekend.
No, yeah, I'm just like Google's just doing this. It scares you. It thinks it's going down. This is why like I didn't punch short at that level, because if you do that, I mean, it goes down to 62 or whatever, and then just boom, right back to the upside on a little bit of a.
Oh, Tesla just made a real.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. We just got to find some names. I was looking at Meta, and it was virtually the same thing. 200 period, except for it looks like it's $1 there, at least on Meta, giving you a trading opportunity while you were gone, or while we were sort of talking. NFL, or we were talking about Rigetti as well. That just came right up to the 200 period. We got out more there. So it's holding $10. Great, fine. We've gotten out of enough now. We're out of half or so. Now let's just try to hold it to see if we can get a bump up for Rigetti. I think 20 would be a good spot. And then after that, the 200 period back should be pretty good around 1030. That should be a good spot for Rigetti. And then into VWAP there at 1050. Also something there. So again, just trading with us here at the close. We'll continue to look for names that are starting to move around, which maybe Mara, as Neil just indicated there, going for a dive. Like, I don't know.
Jared Tweedle in our chat just posted something, but I don't believe. I'll read it, but again, if we ever read stuff that's not official news, he just says Dan Ives speculates that Tesla CEO might acquire TikTok. I've been a non-believer of that possibility from the first time it was mentioned. It doesn't make any logical sense to me why any regulator worth their salt would even consider.
Yeah, but Trump is there.
But even then,
But Trump will just say, "I approve it."
If that's the reason that Tesla just got that move to the downside, because it was a hefty one. Just come to the chart for a second. I'm just going to pull down the black chart. This is what just happened to Tesla. It was also a technical. Can we come to my chart for a second? It was also a technical break. It broke the 50 period. It broke support and then it rolled over. So, yeah, it could be that. Could also be technical, or it could just be a combination of both. But that's a hefty downward move. So there was no pullback on Mara, or I guess bounce on Mara is how I should frame it. It just got to 20 and then resumed right back into the downside. So we're shorted underneath the 20 level. DJT is continuing to bleed. Apple, oddly enough, I gotta move my Apple chart and put like Tesla up or something. Apple's not even moving right now. As you said, some of the Mag 7 are basically nothing. But the big move is just Tesla. Matt C., what about a merger with DJT? That's interesting. I don't think,
mergers?
No, but that's possible. Could it really, if the president owns it and politically,
I don't even, like
that wouldn't be allowed either.
Like a few years ago, we were talking about like not even having, being allowed to own stock and all that in these kind of positions. They have to disclose it. Now we literally have a stock called DJT. Yeah. It's like, this is wild times, man, that we live in.
It's not impossible. It feels like it's not possible.
All right, Rigetti's trying to get some bolognese going on it right here, but let's go over to Adara and figure out what she's
I like bolognese too.
For one here, keep an eye on PDD, which actually to get a little bit of a drop here with volume, as you could see here in the 3-minute chat. Seeing some reports circulating here online that the U.S. has apparently moved to restrict this trade loophole that apparently both Temu, which is owned by PDD, and Amazon use. Basically, it allows them to import products into the U.S. from China without paying tariffs. So some tariff-related news here, sending PDD a little bit to the downside with volume, though it's still up 5% on the day. Then with regards to Tesla and that Dan Ives TikTok story, I was actually seeing this on X that Dan Ives apparently was on CNBC discussing TikTok. I am unsure what he said, but we all know that he is a pretty big Tesla bull, so it could have been something that he's speculating on his own. I do not know if there's any evidence for his speculation, but regardless, he was on CNBC. Unclear as to what was discussed there, guys. Back to you.
Good short.
You
there
do
on
need
DJT,
evidence.
DJT breaking there.
That was crazy. It just broke 40s and it did exactly. So look, it bounced off this level. Go to my chart for a second. It bounced off this level yesterday at 39.65, and then the second it bounced, I'm like, okay, that's the spot that it caught a bid yesterday. We just got out at the 40 or like 39.99 or something like that. As DJT just absolutely flushed. It could roll over, but this is where they bought it up. Yesterday. I find it hard to believe that going into the inauguration, this is really going to break down like a couple of, like it's had huge moves and then held this 39.6 level for a couple of days in a row now. And the inauguration is still coming. So I feel like the short is to there. I wouldn't go long, but I'm kind of thinking this is probably as far as it's going to go. Can it really just bleed all the way knowing what's coming on Monday? We'll see. Could be wrong about that, but I feel like we got as much as you're going to get out of this thing. Even Mara just started to catch a bit of a bid. So we went down to 1980 on Mara, and now it's not really moving all that much. anymore. So I don't know if we have any more fall through. Like the problem with this trade, not the problem with this trade, it's that look how far we've already fallen on Mara, all while Bitcoin basically didn't even
I was
pull back
looking at
much.
Bitcoin, 105 and change, not moving at all.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to think that Mara is going to continue and like bleed all the way to 19. Like, why would it? Like, it's already gone down so far. So I'm just going to move the stop to break even on this, and we'll see what it can do.
All right, in the uneventful moment of the day here, Rigetti goes back to 13, so we'll put a little bit of that. We'll sprinkle some Parmesan on and just get some more out there on this name. I'm waiting at 17 for a much bigger piece, and then at 25, and then if we wrap that up with a bow, and we'll call Rigetti what it is right there, and then have some red wine tonight. But at the end of that, I haven't had a good red wine in a while. I'm going to have to maybe look into that as we go. As we talk here, for sure. Yeah, I don't really drink, to be honest with you. I mean, we had some good, ongoings and whatnot during the holiday season, but even then, wasn't that much. The wife really prefers the sparkly, like either a champagne or prosecco or a rosé, a sparkling, bubbly, something like that.
We have a second bottle. Maybe
we were doing that. Yeah,
because
Raheem brought us that. Whoosh!
So that was New Year's for
big
us.
one. That was,
but then
that was
Obi
Gonzo's.
also.
Obi's was great. Yeah, it was actually.
Obi's also.
Obi's, I think, was New Year's. We had that. We had the other one.
You went the other way around.
Christmas.
Yeah. I might have Obi's this weekend. Why not?
See, there you go. So that's a perfect example. Like, that's how much we're drinking. Like, you're having a bottle of wine that was given to you like a month ago this weekend. So, yeah, same as me. Thanks, Obi, for that,
true.
by the way.
Yeah,
Obi,
not really as much as we used to.
Obi gave
have
us
a few
really
on Sunday, though.
Really
That's
nice
for sure.
gift. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be at King Taps. So come by there, buy Neil a drink as the Buffalo Bills will be hopefully destroying the. I've already bet the Buffalo Bills. I teased them upside.
They just
as
better
well.
not lose.
I got the Buffalo Bills plus 10. So part of a tease. So I just feel like the game's going to be super close, and I feel like Buffalo's going to win. So let's just keep it like that.
I don't get too up or down.
I think it's going to be within I don't want to say field goal, but they got smoked. Baltimore destroyed you guys
that
earlier.
field goal. We were missing 3 key defenders that are going to make a difference. That field goal game with the Chiefs. Yeah, with the 16 seconds left. I'm very lucky my TV wasn't broken that day. My wife is like, she was just shaking her head at like the level of like, I just get way too into it. Unfortunately. No, it's weird. Like, I don't get that worked up about things in a general sense, but I do react. Like that one game we were back and forth with the Chiefs, like that ridiculously high scoring game, and Gabe Davis had like 5 touchdowns. I was jumping up and I jumped over like an ottoman at one of the touchdowns. I was going nuts. My heart rate was like 130
there, man, again.
Well, this was years ago.
No, I'm saying like,
I get emotional about the Bills.
Good hold on that one.
I do get emotional about the Bills. I can easily and more than I probably should. For obviously, I don't play. I'm just a fan. We're looking at the chat.
Oh,
where is this? Where's that on the chat? They're teaching. Oh, I thought you guys meant the show chat. What does this say?
My sister's in grade 7. They're teaching stocks. Good. Well, tell them, Ramin. I'll have to read that in a minute. You have to make 100,000 in H1. Give her Polestar because that's PSNY just at $1 if you want a stock that's really going to go. She's talking about
EV
her sister's in a competition and looking for an EV or a car name there. If it's a competition, you want something that could really get going there. I mean, Polestar's okay.
Maybe just take Rivian.
Whatever you do, Ramin, do not mention to her Ford or anything like that because she's gonna open up the app or whatever they're using. Ferrari, yeah, that's a good one, man. Race, good one. Yeah. Who cares about the price?
What difference does it make?
Okay, so price, this is the one thing. See, so this is good, right? This is what Ramin's talking to us about. She's like, what about the price? It's $400. It don't matter what the price is of all these stocks because if this goes up 5%, it's going to go up 5%. It's the same 5% that Rivian's going to move up. And it's just, right now, this is actually not... Your sister might have it, Ramin, honestly. Nice little bottom here, in and around $400. I mean, Ferrari, it does have a move. It's trying to break through the 200 period right now. I like this. Yep. ATZ in Toronto. She likes Aritzia. This is actually a play that I'm actually in this name. When I'm realizing that my daughter's like, I want a Super Puff and all this kind of stuff, look at this.
a great stock.
Like I'm here paying $200, $300, $400, $500 for these winter jackets, and it's just like booming to the upside. And this is not a new story, man. So I'm in Aritzia, and this was actually a name that Raheem had given to us a long, long time ago.
Yep.
This is a clothing, I guess a fashion. They have their own stuff. They sell the stores. In Sherway has a great one. I'm sure Yorkdale in higher end malls here in Canada. But Aritzia, nice move to the upside right there. Wow. Let's say what's up to Raheem for that one. We've been in. So I do that whole thing where like, oh, you're paying $7 for a latte. Let me just buy Starbucks stock. So I've been doing that ever since I was just a little wee one when I was buying the same banks. Like I started buying the stocks that were I banked at, or the communication. So like Rogers was who my cell phone was with 20 years ago. So I started buying that stock. Enbridge, which is my guy Joe's pick. That's a stock that I was one of the first names I ever bought. Like sending money to them every
That was my
their
second
pipeline.
Oh, it's third stock I ever owned.
Yeah, so it's like Home Depot's a great one. That was another pick.
I love Home. That's a great pick.
Yeah, so anyways, there it is. Aritzia, a good pick there. Rigetti, guys. And then I'm going to stop talking about it soon. We're out of more than 50%. It just came right back into this level. We're not trading enough shares to stop anything. It's only 47 million shares, but it just keeps on coming to this level and stopping completely. So Rigetti, interesting name here as we'll look to wrap up some of these positions. It's 3:15. I always get nervous when Mark's going around taking measurements and looking for things because I'm always like, uh-oh, something's about to happen.
Something's going to get built.
Around here.
Or broken down.
Trying to avoid spooking.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, he's
See,
trying
now
to avoid.
he's like messing around
Yeah,
behind
trying to
my
avoid
PC.
spooking us as now he's right behind everything, getting even more intimate here.
Just wait till my screens go off in a quick little second here.
Yeah. What have you done?
That would,
No, were we supposed to throw somewhere? I've got, no. Okay, good.
not yet.
All right, Microsoft.
Whenever we are ready. Microsoft.
I don't know what you're talking about, Daryl, but we like Daryl.
I'm
What's up,
not as, Daryl just said Microsoft. Mine was Microsoft.
Oh,
the first stock you ever owned.
Right, good one. I was in Microsoft too, and I actually sold that one. It was barcoding there.
Any guesses the first stock I ever owned? You have to think about it, but it's kind of obvious.
For what, yours?
Yeah, it's kind of
BlackBerry?
obvious. No, but along the same lines, you would know it, but most people wouldn't be able to figure it out because my pops worked there.
Oh, okay, well.
Nortel.
Yeah, I could say it. I don't know if you... Yeah, Nortel. You've said it on the store before.
Yeah, my dad worked at Nortel.
I think that's what you want to do. I think
in the day.
And they talked about it on the Midday show, and I'm being serious about it. People often don't know where to start. I think that's where you start. I think you can just put in a little bit of money. I think you should start buying indexes. That's the first thing.
That makes more sense.
But that could be even complicated. Like, what is the S&P 500? Just buy high-quality names, get involved with those names, and, don't spend them all. Don't spend it all in one place, you know what I mean? Keep some walking around money, but names like Home Depot, Apple, things like that. Like, for my kids, we've talked about this, and I asked them what stocks, so we've owned a little bit of Roblox in accounts for them and whatnot. So those are some of the picks. And then my kid, who was live on here a couple years ago, his pick was Microsoft because he liked the Discord angle at that time. Microsoft and Discord were supposed to match. I love Discord if they ever IPO.
It is happening.
It is, yeah. So hopefully, is it?
This year. I don't know.
I don't know if they filed
I don't know when
yet.
this year, but
That's what I'm saying.
It's going to happen this year.
All right.
How about one that might be your pick? How about a new discovery on the NASDAQ?
Ooh.
And that's Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a US-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off the grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Scan the QR code in front of you on that screen. What a nice looking tent that is, although very, very small.
It's very lit up.
I ain't trying to camp in a tent. Our tent is we have a 6-person tent for the 3 of us.
A lot of people.
And that is like the only way that I am ever going. I want my space, and I want a car camp, so that the Jeep is right next to us in case all you know what breaks loose. That's I love the outdoors,
Like those
but
bears come,
I don't love it
there
that
quickly.
much. There's a limit to how much I love it. We got some super chats in here. DJ T's catching a bit of a bid. I might take one more shot at it. As you can see, there's your prior low. Kind of looking to see if it'll press into the prior low again and then work another short. It was Rohit. Vasily, you were asking about NVIDIA, so we did mention NVIDIA. I'll go back to it in a second. Rohit, SPY fails to break 600, signals bearish triple top. All right, I'll pull up the SPY. I usually have the S&P 500 up, but that'll be on like a 60-minute chart. So I'll pull this up on the 3. I guess, is that really a triple top? Let's go in here. Yeah, on the daily, there you go. There's your daily, there's your triple top. I would actually venture to say it's even a little bit more bearish than that, but until you lose the 50 here, where's your follow through? Because yeah, you've also held support. It plays in both directions. It looks bearish right now, but your risk is tight risk. Your risk to reward is better, I suppose, like shorting it to there, because you've also got the overhead of the all-time high to go with you. But I would also venture to say you could just easily hold on to the 50-period moving average, and then if that happens, then you go for a breakout of the top with the 50 as your stop. You can always look at this in multiple ways. I do lean a little bit bearish right now, so I'm kind of with you on it, but you can trust me, you can read a chart in both directions. I think the important thing is, do you have a plan of action for your trade? Like, where would your out be if you're looking for that short? I'm just going to go back on over to DJT because it seems like it's trying to catch a bit of a bid. It's moving, no question about it. The inauguration is on Monday. Remember, the market is closed on Monday for MLK Day. So, enjoy your weekend, and certainly I think there's going to be some fireworks. I feel like it would be more exciting if the market and this was all open so we could trade during the inauguration.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like a yes and a no situation. Like, I don't
just
expect
there for
anything to happen. I mean, if he's like sitting there in his inauguration, like talking about all of his policies, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I guess you never know.
You
But
literally
Blue Ocean and all that, I mean, I'm guessing that some of that stuff will be open.
I don't know Blue Ocean's rule. Like, I don't think, because Blue Ocean, it's like an overnight market. I don't think that they do holidays, but I'd have to double check. I can maybe, here, I'll just ask.
I mean, anybody out there traded on Blue Ocean? Well, yeah, we can also ask our.
There's a guy who trades with Real Trading,
right, exactly.
who was like he trades Blue Ocean more than anybody at Real Trading, to my knowledge. And I'm just gonna just message him right now, and then hopefully he's watching the show, and you know who you are, and you can just answer me.
And then he'll know if there's some trade there. Okay. All right, let's start going over some names there in the chat. What's up, Barcott? Asking me about Oracle. I own Oracle. I like Oracle. Oracle's had a little bit of news here coming with TikTok and whatnot. So, Barcott, what do we think about Oracle? Bullish reversal from the downtrend? Question mark. All right, so let's have a quick look then at Oracle, and just to see, I'm not sure if you're talking about a daily chart or what here with ORCL, but again, a name that I like. Okay, maybe you are talking about this. Wow. See? Like look at Google doing absolutely nothing, like literally, and then here's a name right here. And thanks for pulling, like, look at Google, crazy, doing nothing. And then we had Oracle was actually trending this way. So great look if you're talking about this.
That's not good.
I wouldn't say there's any reason to reverse this. If you're going to reverse long, I would say right here, 161, but it's also been getting hit on the daily chart as well. So yes, I would say where's the 200 period? Yes.
Oh my goodness.
A good little look there on this one. I haven't bought this name since 100 and 100 and change, but good levels there. Obviously up to 195. There's been some blowout tops recently in the stock market. You've seen Apple with a nice move down. That looks something similar. There's actually nothing wrong with Oracle. But again, watch out for the data centers. If TikTok's one of their bigger clients, if they do wind up getting shut down, they hold the US side of things there, the hosting side. So there could be some sort of a push and pull on that news. But I really like it down into 150. Whenever the 200 period kind of matches with past support, turning now into past resistance, which would now turn into support, I like that trade. So I think that's a great look. Yeah, Oracle, exactly. These are the kind of things like where you want to have dry powder for. I feel like another name there, I have Disney up here, was looking at that. That's getting close to 200 period, but not really. Palantir was nowhere near the 200 period, but I feel like there's like foam just coming off of some of these names, like a beer, where it just gets taken right off the top. So it got really excited, really sort of juiced up there on the NASDAQ inclusion to the symbol change from NASDAQ, from New York over to NASDAQ, same symbol, but nice move to the upside there, bouncing off 50 period. Palantir, I still think has room to go up 4% as well. So I like Palantir. Oracle looks a little bit better because that move just looks like it's just starting.
I'm surprised its P's where it is.
That Rigetti's coming back down a little bit here, by the way.
Even after that drop, Oracle's trades at 39 times.
Oh, it's expensive now.
Yeah, but the forward PE is 23.
Right.
So I'd wait
That's
till
cheap.
I'd wait till after earnings. The forward PE is good, which just basically means if it falls into earnings and they meet expectations, that should be really good. Right? So I like that about Oracle. I'm surprised it trades at 39 times after dropping 30% off the top. It still trades 39 times. So yeah, I'd wait till after earnings, although my trade doesn't have an earnings date for them. It's literally blank. So not sure when they report. So I'm back into DJT because that's trying to move around here. So it popped, broke 40, got to 40.13, came back underneath, broke 40 downside, went short underneath 40, stop at the prior high, and we'll see what DJT can do. Mara's not moving anymore. Bitcoin, just to show you guys. Yeah, for the fact that we're so strong all day, I mean, this is IBIT. It's still sideways. Like, this is incredibly tiny. Since in the last 20 minutes, you've got a 15-cent range on IBIT. Really not a lot happening, and this is where the volatility was for sure. So maybe we get one more leg down here on DJT. Keeping in mind that this 39.6, like down here is a bit of a double bottom going the last couple of days. I think it's a last salvo for DJT, but we'll give it one more shot to see how far this one can fall. If there's something else moving, you guys let us know. Tesla, Edwin says, is pulling back into 433. So we'll have a quick look at Tesla.
There goes Rigetti.
Double bottom. Well, it's pulling into VWAP here for Tesla. The market's not doing much. Tesla still looks pretty strong. I don't know.
So I would be exiting Rigetti. I got out there. It does break through $10. It breaks $9.90 there. We get out at $9.89. It does break down. Could bounce off this level, but there goes Rigetti to the downside. So we had talked about that. We tried to look at something that was potentially moving, but the shelf breaks again there on Rigetti, and we're out. Like, not worth it here, putting a good week or a good day down the drains on something like that. And I was just going to show you guys, we already talked about this, that bottom from the 15th, I don't want to hold through that for sure, but if you're still in this, that's 970 there on RGTI would be a level for me to look at. 990 right now. I didn't pay for shorts. I could go in there and buy them right now, but I'm not going to. I would think short rather than long, especially if we break that 970. That could be a great trade going short there on RGTI. We can have a quick look to see if QBTS is maybe doing something there as well. I would feel like that was a Rigetti-specific break. Yeah, see, so nothing going on there. Just a technical break. It broke through $10. A lot of traders like myself probably over there. So we are. What's up, Jonathan Robinson here? Good name there. Yeah, Sean, it's over. Let it go. Yeah. We're done. We're done, Rigetti. It did break down. Look, if this was any other day, like not heading into a Friday, it is Friday, not heading into a weekend, I think that we would be more inclined to maybe look at this thing again. The volume's here. There's a lot of volume since we started looking at it, right? The volume's definitely up, some nice big spikes, but at the end of the day, let's get away from it. I agree with you, Jonathan. There is not much happening there right now. We could look at Rivian. Let's check out Tesla. That did have that move down. Still, right now, okay, so still trying to go. All right, are the futures finally giving something up right now? Look at Tesla. We just go over to it, and now
it's just Tesla.
Is it just Tesla?
Well, the Nasdaq's not doing much.
Yeah, I was going to say, because Google's not doing anything. Tesla right now giving it up. Look at this break right there. 431.
Yuck.
Tesla's pretty yucky right now.
Almost as bad as Red Cat.
Child saying that pretty yucky, but 435, that's $5 in 10 minutes.
I'd prefer if my daughter would say things like yucky.
Really?
You know when they go past that age and now she'll actually say things like
disgusting?
Yeah, she'll say disgusting.
Yeah, that's it.
But for a casual, I don't like this.
Right.
When kids casually don't like something, they say yucky. Now she'll be like, she kind of just doesn't like the way some chili tastes that we made, and she'll be like, it's disgusting. I'm like,
yeah, we don't allow that.
I'm like, you literally, no, I'll be like, color, you don't think, you're literally eating it right now. If it was disgusting, there'd be something wrong with it and you wouldn't be eating it. Do not call it disgusting. And then I'm like, okay.
Well, I just, when it comes to food, it's like, everyone has different taste buds. That's what I'm trying to tell my kids. So it's like what you find disgusting, somebody else is like very lucky to have that food. Anyways. Yes.
And the other thing I'll do too is I'll just be like, I'll just start eating food. Like, you're not going to have any dinner because Daddy loves this. I'll just eat it all.
All of a sudden, she's all about eating it.
No, the other play is, and this is, I know it's a little bit mean to say this.
Maybe we should go short.
Oh, you don't want to eat that? Okay, well, your next meal is also this. And that means you're eating it for breakfast if it's dinner. You put it in the fridge, you can have it for breakfast. And if you don't eat it for breakfast, you can have it for lunch tomorrow. If you don't eat it for lunch, you can have it for dinner tomorrow too. Sometimes that's how you got to roll. Let's go to the desk because apparently
tomato. Yeah, Tesla breaking view up. Yeah, all right.
News.
We do a bit of a different take here on our sector segment. We're going to take a look here at some of these weaker names in the S&P 500, given the strength we've had across the market today. Starting with Eli Lilly, down about 3%, and there's a couple different catalysts floating around for this one. The reason I pulled up the daily chart, as you can see here, we actually bounced off pretty much the exact same level we bounced off on Tuesday. So the drop on Tuesday had to do with the fact that they lowered their guidance by 3%. They're still expecting 32% increase here on revenues year over year for fiscal 2024. But today we had a couple different catalysts, both of which came out this morning, which is basically when we've dropped. This one, though, actually a positive one. FDA approving expanded use of the company's ulcerative colitis drug, now also being able to be used for Crohn's disease. Then also about 17 minutes later, CNBC basically reported or announced that Ozempic is going to be in the next round of Medicare drug price negotiations. That was unclear if this was a brand new announcement or just, I guess, regurgitating an old headline. But regardless, Ozempic should be on watch here with that price negotiations here for Medicare drug pricing. Also, the other thing with LLY has to do with Novo Nordisk. Novo actually reported weaker than expected results here for one of its trials for its semaglutide drug, weaker than those of Eli Lilly. So it'd actually be a bullish catalyst for Eli Lilly. Regardless, I saw a couple people asking about why this was down, so I wanted to kind of provide a lot of different catalysts here. Two other names that are weak on the day are both earnings name. State Street, recovering nicely from its lows, but still down about 2%. And last but not least, JB Hunt. State Street actually beat their earnings estimates. JB Hunt did not. JB Hunt missed here on earnings by about 7%. They had inline revenue, but their EPS was in fact a miss. Back to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Adara. Great talk there about different names. I don't know if we'd seen anything on Tesla recently. I'm just really small short here just because it's my party, and sometimes we'll cry if we want to, especially if we have food that we don't like, and that
makes it seem like I'm a tyrant. Every now and then.
I mean, I don't want to say that, no. All right, so we are a tyrant. I didn't even look at the chat, to be honest with you. I was just waiting to see what happens here with Tesla. I was going to give this up to 432 again. Might be unnecessary risk. I mean, we're short here at 430s. There, okay. I'm trying to trade names that are moving around here, and I don't necessarily, and people, this is why I don't even want to look at the chat either right now, because they're probably like, this guy's an idiot for shorting Tesla, and you might be right on that one, but let's just wait. So we'll take a little bit more, and then we're just going to play around with this name and just see what winds up happening. Short 430. Let me put a bid at 429.60s. That's where I noticed we were having some issues, bouncing in and around on there on Tesla. VWAP is right there. That's kind of what we were trying to play with again, so we'll short it there. Watching out for 432, breaking higher above that, and we'll get out of there. But there it is. Okay, let's take a piece out now if we can, as we just got a little bit of a higher piece in there on Tesla with no news. This is literally, it's not literally playing with fire, but I mean, why are we even doing this? We don't need to be in this name, but it's working out so far. We'll put another bid here at 430 flat, and then just be lucky maybe to get out of this, as the momentum and the volume is right here, right now in TSLA, really starting to pick up again. Dangerous because of the inauguration. We talked about him going to be sitting there with, probably front and center there. A lot of the big CEOs are going to be there on Monday, so I wouldn't hold a short into the weekend especially on a Tesla, but for right now, let's see what happens. There's only 25 minutes left in the rest in the day. So
yeah, and just to answer a question,
it's worth having some fun here.
Ostentatious Productions. What happened to FTAI? A couple of days ago, there was that short seller report, and it looks like there's a little bit of continuation. So my rule of thumb.
Watch out now, Tesla.
Yeah, my rule of thumb on these short seller reports is, if it holds one low, let it do it twice, right? So it held yesterday, where you can hold the higher close, and then today it tried to. Had it closed above, I'd have been looking for a breakout long or support long on Monday. But that's not what's happening. It's just continuing to break down. You got to let these things settle down after the short seller report. I was driving home from physio, and I was listening to Kramer, and I'm pretty sure he said to buy. This was still a buy.
Buy which one?
It's FTAI.
Oh,
I think
what?
So. Whatever. I had the radio going, but you let it settle down after these short seller reports. Oftentimes, yes, they're already in, and that's their exit liquidity. It doesn't mean it's not going to drop further. Let it show you support first. It was trying to do it yesterday. Clearly, no follow through until it can hold something for 2 days in a row. I think you got to just stay away from it.
Yeah,
And it's like, and there's great opportunities. I keep saying the one time that Square had a short seller report, and it just held for a couple of days, and it was just an easy long after that, because clearly nobody wanted to continue selling it and didn't buy it, and it was a great long. DJT still going a little sideways off this 40 level. What else we got going? It's just not that much moving. The futures are trying to bounce
that's
higher.
what I'm trying to be here.
I went over to that BT, what was it, BTBC? No.
BT, yeah.
BTC. BTCT. And even this, like you just, like it would have been fun for this to continue going. It was so strong, it got to almost $10 and just a complete reversion. I mean, obviously in hindsight, could have paid for some shorts, but did not do so, and you're right back into 8. So I'm not really seeing any love for this name. I'm just gonna stick with DJT and see if it can't break out the bottom here. But if we go down a third time and hold this low, should probably just get out. If this is the range, it's the range. But the last time it held this range, it did roll over. So I want to give it a chance to do that for sure. Kurt Hutchins, there was a Tesla battery fire on Moss Landing in Monterey.
President Tesla trading hard. Stock may be rising ahead of President-elect Trump's upcoming inauguration.
That's
was just what I just saw right now. I don't know. I'm trying to do something like trying to just. Okay. Just trying to trade a little bit of this name. It looks like it just did hold. I don't know if it's going to. Man, we just took it out there above 432 there. And then it goes right back up to the upside now. Oh, that's too bad. Or to the downside, sorry. We'll try it through one more time if we're able to get something in and around 432. One more short. Well, we're short right now, but not at a great price. We will try it. Again, but you know what? Into the inauguration, that could be we just said that could definitely be a good little bump there for them. All right.
Also,
we're going to stop out at 4.
I want to thank, because in the chat earlier, people were asking about Red Cat. I was like, what's going on with Red Cat? I must have missed this story, which happens. I mean, you track the things we track our watch list, but you can't necessarily get every story. That's why we really lean on Brendan oftentimes and Dara, who does a fantastic job with the news, because it's impossible. Even though I have Benzinga up, I listen to news. It's just you'll miss things. So there was a short seller report on RCAT, I'm assuming yesterday, and just follow through today. So I mean, for RCAT, same thing as we just said about FTAI. Let it settle, because it's clearly still bleeding, and it's on a monster trend. It's a 50-period moving average. They can let it maybe break this down and then just see where it can settle down. Clearly made of a different type of name than FTAI here, so I think there's a little bit more risk inherently for sure. So yeah, just be careful with that Red Cat. But short seller report, I must have missed that story. Well, not like I'm trading it or anything, but look at it continue to bleed. This was a great continuation play. Obi would have been, I bet you Obi would see this and be like, what? That's a play he likes. You get a short seller report or a massive news story or earnings, day 2, simple continuation play. Like whatever direction it went, does it break down and break out in the other direction? That's exactly why I was so upset about Morgan Stanley this morning, because we really liked the earnings for the banks in general. And you saw like the Goldman Sachs earnings, Morgan Stanley earnings, and then the consolidation break out the highs on Morgan. And it was perfect plan. Like it does the dip, because that's what the banks do. They do the dip, and you get the VWAP hold, and you get the breakout. But we had some, like I said, I couldn't quote the stock this morning properly. So there goes DJT. Obviously not as good as it was at 41. That'll be flat trade now, because we did get some out, but I was holding for that flush to look like it would happen again. 338. I don't know if we'll see anything else that looks good. Yeah, DJT might have made that bottom. It's not just yesterday. It also had the same bottom on Wednesday, right in here at 39.60. So it looks like it's made a bit of a temporary bottom here on DJT. I don't think I'll be shorting it anymore. Let's give a quick look at the early look imbalances for you guys.
We do have, let's go with we'll talk about e-signal just real quick, and then we'll get over to that. We are still trying to manage with this position, our friendly position here with Tesla, but e-signal, trade smarter, not harder. Neil was just talking about, making sure that you have the right quotes and being stable and a good system. Well, e-signal gives you that. Get down, Tesla. E-signal gives you that and more. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data, better backtesting and scanning. Honestly, charts that change the game, completely customizable. Every single thing, tick tick charts, bar charts, anything you're looking for, seconds data, it's all right there. And it's completely customizable, as is your trading portfolios, depending on what you're trading these days. Okay, here comes Tesla back down in. After all of that, if we get out right now, we'll be flat on the stock. But we want to try to make a little bit of money here, and let's see if it goes downside now, even just a little bit more. Just too many ins and outs there on Tesla all the way up. We should have just given it a little bit more love. We were trying to, again, we should have waited for the 50 period and then we wouldn't have been short here. But I tried to trust VWAP. We talked about how much we love that angle, but unfortunately, it did rip up for us. And okay, here we go. When there's a lot of volume, though, there we go. You do get outside. We just got 80s. You do get outsized moves. So right now, it is $2 in the money, but it's not a huge trade for me because we just got some out, thankfully, hoping that we were able to get flat. So if this continues to tank from there, we just took some out at 430 again. Hopefully we do get a downside move now short. Tesla 432 and change, but a lot of shots taken up there. So not a stock where I'm super proud of the executions. I'm proud to be able to hold it. But at the end of the day, too many shots up there, but we're there. We did take it. We were pretty responsible not taking too many shots there with Google, even though we were long, and that's starting to go back up to the upside right now. Watch out for a 200 period break. It's 340 already. So
I was just looking up the imbalances.
Yeah, I think we should start to get out.
It's a third Friday. there's nothing big
I'm gonna get
expected at
more
the close that I'm looking at here. Yeah, all that stuff's for next week. There's a couple of deletions next week. No, there's nothing crazy expected on the imbalances today. The early look has got, oddly enough, you can't write it up. How many times is Enbridge going to get mentioned today? Enbridge is the #1 early look imbalance of a sell, but much like the Canadian banks, Enbridge is dual listed. So it's in the primary listings in Toronto. So it doesn't really matter what it comes out in New York, because it could be 2.2 million to sell here, and it could be a big buy over in Canada, or here in the Toronto Stock Exchange. MDU's there for an early look at 1.7. This is the one that might be interesting. Boeing. Early look of 1.4 million to the sell side on Boeing. So I'm probably just going to throw this one up on a side chart, just in case. I mean, you never really know if it's going to come out as a big buy. Looks like it's a sell, then comes out a big buy. Who knows? But it's at VWAP as we speak. So if there is a play off VWAP, there might be something going on Boeing. I really didn't mean that pun. Jaspreet Singh, can you please look at RIME? Algorithmic Holdings penny stock. So it's not, it's kind of moving. I can tell you there is 1 million shares at 4 cents. But I can also tell you that it's a 4-cent stock, so that's really not that much size. It's done 140 million, which is, that's like on that, like it's pretty good. But what was the other one the other day? It was,
what was this? Rigetti was doing tons of volume?
That penny stock that did 800 million last week. It's just, if you're under 10 cents, if you're under 10 cents, V something.
What?
XTIA?
I don't know.
It might have been. It might have been
reverse
XTIA.
split, remember?
But what I'm sort of getting at is, if it's literally under 10 cents, by the end of the day, you want 300, 400, 500 million is good volume.
Tesla.
Like we've seen that before. So it's a little bit light on volume. There's some decent bid support at 4, but the daily chart looks absolutely awful, and I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Penny stocks, you can join when they start going early.
XTIA.
Otherwise, trying to pick a bottom on a penny stock is only okay if you have some really good inside information somehow, because it's down here, and look, the daily chart looks like this for a reason, usually. So trying to pick a bottom is no good. Taking a local breakout or something, if you come to my chart for a second, like getting involved when it starts going and taking longs here or here, that's reasonable on a penny stock in my mind. But the whole just gamble that you've made the low, everyone's done it at least once in their life, and it usually doesn't end up well.
So we don't have people asking us for imbalances. They don't come out till 3:50. The only ones that are live right now are the NYSE ones. So that's the only ones that we can give to you right now. Someone's asking about Rigetti and stuff like that. We don't have those. All right, so I took another piece out here at 4:30. It's $2 in the money. I'm bidding 429.50, which is basically the low. Well, we got down to 429, but we haven't gotten any better bids than that right now. I think our best bid is 429. We do have a 429. We have 429.83s is our best fill. So I don't know why it keeps on holding this level other than 430, which kind of makes sense. If you're going to talk about options and everything like that, a strike price. We talked about pinning to a price right there. 430 could be one of those levels. So we'll watch out to see if Tesla can give it up or not. It looks like it wants to bounce again. I might just I'll take one more piece out. Let me take a piece out there. We'll still, again, a bit back in the bid in the 30s. I don't know. I only have now 15% left of this position, which is why I'm trying to hold on for said bigger move. If it goes back up, it goes back up. We'll get stopped out at 433, which is that top, and we'll wait to see if imbalances come on Tesla. You don't want to be the wrong way. So that's why that stop is in there, because if it comes a buy imbalance, bang, the stock will take off like crazy. I hope everyone enjoys their Martin Luther King Jr. Day as we keep on talking about inauguration, but obviously a much more important day in the fact that it's MLK. So, hopefully everyone has a safe one there. And I don't know, we don't have it in Canada, so I don't know if spend it with family. I don't know how that all works, but be safe and enjoy the day there. And we'll be back on Tuesday, Rise and Shine at 8:30 with hopefully some more excitement than what we've been seeing right now.
Oh, there'll be excitement. One way or another. Energy could be interesting. Obviously, Tesla, anything Elon related. There's going to be some fire next week. Remember, we had the banks, we were getting into earnings season. Bitcoin, come on, 110 over the weekend.
For sure.
I'd love to see that happen. I think Bitcoin could easily make a big power move. There was a question in the chat. Please look at KSS, Kohl's. I'm going to use a weekly chart for this one. It's got I understand it's got a 40% short float. So anytime something has a ridiculously large short float, you start thinking about opportunities. And yes, it is almost at the COVID lows. So I can see a lot of reason why a bounce off the COVID lows plus a 40% short float could be good. But like we were just saying about a penny stock, why not let it start going? No shorts are scared until it starts breaking out. Like when it starts doing this, not just getting above the 50, but then see that wall here when it gets to the 50, and that was at 29.60. No shorts are scared till not even breaking 30, but breaking that high underneath it. Because they're like, well, even if that breaks, we got this. And the stock is going under. So that's how the big hedge funds are probably thinking. So why try to catch a bottom? Let it revert, let it break resistance, and then you can go squeezing. It's just otherwise you just end up getting murked as it just bleeds lower and lower and lower. So no change on the early look imbalances. I just double checked Intel. We forgot about Intel. It actually was really good
broke again
this afternoon off VWAP. Really good. Fail. I'm slapping the fail for stopping trading Intel in the middle of the day because it held VWAP twice. It's only 21.15 to 21.50, but that's 1.5% on Intel. And with that speculation that there could be an acquisition, that's about it. Who would buy them? I don't know. The previous rumor was Qualcomm. I don't know if that's going to be legitimate, but 9% to the upside and closing well. She's selling?
No, I was saying I was going to try to phone Kathy Wood because someone's buying Tesla at 430 and they're not letting it go. You might have heard me. I kind of sounded like Elsa there. I was trying to say let it go, let it go. But at the end of the day, downside move happening there. We do get that 429.50 level. So thankfully, there was a little bit of let it go action there on Tesla. So we did get that fill. So yes, sir, we'll props it up for that one. As patience right now, giving a $2.50 winner for Tesla as we'll hold it, man. We'll see what happens. I'm now bidding 428 flat. So let's get a break there as we are now 2 minutes away from the imbalances. If these come Redsville, man, oh boy, well, we should be able to see something here. So 428 flat. I mean, you know what? Let's bid 429. Let's go 429.05, and then we'll wait to see if we get a 428 after that. Maybe we get a flush. Maybe we get a rip. At the end of the day, I'm going to give it to 433. 250 in the money. Let's give it back 90 cents. We only have now about 12% left.
You know what makes sense?
Yeah.
4:30, it's Friday. It's just got to be an options thing. That's why.
That's what I was saying. It was pegged to 4:30.
So
like it's just going at these levels. So
which can be.
I'm fine with that.
Be a good sign if it breaks away in the last 10 minutes. Remember, companies don't do buybacks in the last 10 minutes, and when that happens on the Mag 7, oftentimes you can get bleeding in some of the bigger names.
You also can't buy back this close to earnings.
Well, that's the other side of it. But when do they report?
I don't know.
But
that's just for all the stocks like Apples and all that kind of stuff.
They're the 29th.
Yeah, and it's a big The other thing too is it's also big that how expensive it's become now to borrow money and things like that. So the buybacks right now might not be coming as fast and furious with some of these big corporations.
See Apple.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens on these reports coming through now. Only 15. Right, it's 4.9.
You wouldn't
45
see,
seconds.
Yeah, like you wouldn't see drops like we saw in Apple yesterday if the company was buying back.
Right, exactly.
It flat out wouldn't happen because they would have averted that
right
move,
back.
no problems whatsoever. 30 seconds to go till the imbalances. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, of course. After market, we're gonna have Andrew Rader joining us. It'll be myself. We'll have Adara. She was at the desk for sure. Well, traders are going to stay late. We'll have Andrew Rader come in. Always a lot of fun when we have him on the show. So about 10 seconds to go for these imbalances. I have Boeing up. It's an early look, 1.3 million to the sell side. Can't remember the last time we saw Boeing on this board, to be honest with you. So let's see if it can come out a little bit bigger than that. But we'll let you know in a second. Here we go. Cisco 1.8, that's the biggest thing. So Cisco 1.8 million to the sell side, Plug 1.4 to the buy, Tilray's a buy, but that's a $1 stock. That's 1 million on Tilray. Where is like anything big? Dave & Buster's is $1 million to sell.
Take a bid on Tesla.
PayPal, is there any like no big cap tech names? I don't see any. Do you see any?
I see PayPal. I see Microsoft is right there as a small sell, 700,000 shares. That was right there for Softy. So Softy's actually at 432. Wow. Tesla and Softy are exactly the same price, both at 430. So you do see a little bit of a gap down there. But right now, man, we are now $3 in the money. We just took another bid on Tesla right there. What's up, Adara?
We do have WBA pushing lower here. The U.S. Justice Department here, as reported by Reuters, saying that it files a nationwide lawsuit alleging that Walgreens knowingly filled millions of prescriptions without a legitimate medical purpose. Sorry, so I guess basically just accusing Walgreens of flagrantly filing some prescriptions here, guys. Keep an eye on WBA. Getting a little bit of a bounce right now, though, actually. Back to you.
To us right now, $3. We're trying to get that bid right now on Tesla. We're bidding 429 flat, well, 429.05. Maybe we can get that fill right there, and then that will put us in the money, $3.05. Hopefully it comes in. It just touched 429, but we're there at 429.05. Just want to give an update. That'll be my last trade. We are now getting lighter and lighter on this name, so still about that 12% in. So if we get this fill, we'll be down to about 10, and then we'll wait to see what happens after that, and we'll bid a little bit lower, 428 flat. Come on, just push the button, Kathy. Get out of some more. There it is. All right, 429.05. Yes, sir. It is a hot dog cannon right there. $3 to end the day here on Tesla, putting that name green for us. There it goes. Nice move on Tesla. Of course, we're green on it. I mean, we're green on it right now. It's the only trade we've made all day. We went over there, found a name with volume, and oh boy, are we ringing this one up right now. Tesla, nice move down. I'm going to take one more piece at 4 right now. The imbalances could do anything at any time. So we'll take some more outs at 429 if we're able to. There it is. And now we'll wait for 428. And oh boy, good way to end the day.
Great way to end the day. Hopefully Tesla only goes down for the next 5 minutes and then catches a big bid next week because I kind of want it to go up. We all own it in our long-term accounts, everybody. Well, most people, I'm sure, own it in their long-term accounts.
If you own the NASDAQ, if you own the S&P 500.
That's sort of what I'm getting at. Everyone that's like, oh, I don't own this or that. My wife was like, she doesn't like Elon that much. I'm like, yeah? Well, you better believe you own Tesla stock anyways, because it's in everything, everybody. But it looks like a little bit of a nothing on these imbalances. I checked some of these bigger names, like MDU has an imbalance and CSX, but they're not really moving too much. So I'd say disappointment when it comes to the over $1 million names. Even Cisco here, that's a decent size, 1.6 million. It's only done 15 million on the day. But as we get into 355, it's already starting to revert back in. So no big bleed. I think the algos got the best of that one. It was already at the lows. Cisco definitely looking a little bit weak. Just going to double back over to DJT. This was moving. Looks like I got the worst, okay, maybe not the worst possible stop out because it went another 20 cents higher, but it did come right back to the 40 level. So DJT, barring an abject miracle in the next 6 minutes here, is going to close in the red. All of that said, on the daily chart, which I did not show everybody, it still looks pretty bullish with this consolidation above 39 on the daily chart. As long as it doesn't lose 39, I think it's got a better chance of a rally next week. But if we drop down underneath that 39 level, it's going to be a sell the news type of event there on DJT. Boeing was supposed to come out of sell. That was a big nothing burger. It did not come out of sell and just broke VWAP.
Right.
So I feel like there's every now and then, if a stock is random, there's no index action and there's no reason it's doing it, you can maybe fade the early look if it sets up a trade, because you could have had this off VWAP with a stop there. And if it doesn't come out of sell, you're good. And if it does, you already have a stop and you're risking 15 cents. But that's more of a theory than anything else. Neil, putting any minor retracement plays on the radar? Like Bitcoin miners? Like Mara? I think Mara
Has a chance?
Well, no. Actually, based on what happened with Mara at the end of the day today, I don't like Mara. We went long in the morning on Mara, but I really, really don't like what I saw today. We were showing you Bitcoin doing nothing. Mara was consolidating off the top for what I thought was going to be another leg up, and instead, it just flushed. Like, you had a $1 drop. It dropped 5% when IBIT did... Like, for most of the move, IBIT did this. Again, now it pulled back further, but for the most of that move, you barely had a pullback in Bitcoin, and the thing dumped. It just tells me the miners are still relatively weak. Oh, it's 355. I just realized I didn't actually set up over.
By the way, Tesla's Tank City right now. Let's props it up right now. $5 in the money right now for Tesla. And there she goes, ladies and gentlemen. We did it, everybody.
Another one.
It's another one, but props it up to everybody. There it is, OBA all, $5 now on Tesla as we get into the downside right there. Congratulations, CompuCare team. Just told me he's short 438 right there, 100 shares. Wow, what a great. Well, off that break, I mean, it's a great look again.
Break, yeah.
We should have had that. But oh boy, there it is, man. Let's go, man. Get into the gates of hell. And as Neil said, we like Tesla. But for today, bing bong, it's another one there. Nice move down for Tesla. We stayed with it, and there it goes. It must have turned into a little bit of a sell because I was just chilling out, and all of a sudden it tanked into that. But again, IBIT? Yeah, IBIT with a sell there. That's okay. I think Bitcoin would be fine, 104 and change. We did not get into IBIT earlier today, but Cisco's right in there as well with a little bit of sell.
I'm going to go make sure that...
Go get prepared. I mean, it's still a long time, 4 minutes. So go get ready to get locked and loaded. We'll take it in from here. Okay. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. The trading is what it is right now. Let's go over to Adara, and then we'll wrap this up. What's up, babe?
Actually, just have some more context here on that DALDKNG story. Delta literally just made a new day's low, but is bouncing right now. So basically, we had this report earlier about Delta and DraftKings with some in-flight gambling. I have some more details. So Richard Blumenthal, who is a senator from Connecticut, has basically said that he's calling for Delta Airlines and DraftKings to end their in-flight gaming partnership. Apparently, there is a 1962 law that specifically bans gambling from commercial flights. And he's saying, much like what Sean was saying earlier when we talked about this, that it's basically promoting high-risk behavior in the air. So there's a little bit more detail. Apparently, there is a very specific law that Delta and DraftKings are apparently violating by allowing in-air gambling, guys. Back to
I mean, I don't want to, I just thought about that. I didn't realize that there was an actual possible rule or legislation against something like that. I think at this day and age with, as we said, our phones and everything, it's probably okay. But interesting to hear that. Thanks to Dara for that one. We're now $6 in the money here to end on Tesla. We're going to see if we can get that bid. We are bidding 426. I was not thinking this much of a drop here in TSLA, but man, did we do it. And we've done it pretty good now. I actually, now that it's, should I wait for it? Okay, a punch. There we go. A punch a little bit out there. We punched out some 40s. Now we'll just wait. So we just got out of 40s. We have a very, very small piece left, down into like that 2 or 3%. All of these outs, we told you we had about, what was it, about 20% left, and then we were into 15, and then 12s. Now we have just a small piece left. As we get more outs here for a big win at the end of the day, Tesla going to be a nice green stock for me there, all said and done. But again, too many outs. I even commented about how sloppy that was there, so don't feel the greatest about how we traded that. We should have made a heck of a lot more money. Rigetti is, not doing well. We talked about where we should have got out, and we did. So that was a good play for us on RGTI. What's up, Adara?
keep an eye on Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. We're now seeing, apparently we know that basically the case here for these by Bill Ackman was that Donald Trump is likely to end the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac conservatorships. Now apparently that we have reports that Scott Bessent, who is Trump's treasury pick, apparently he told at least one lawmaker in the Senate that ending the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac conservatorships is not a priority. So that could very much change the ongoing sentiment for FMCC and FNMA. Back to you.
On the pink sheets right there. We were looking at this earlier. It's only going up today, so up 30%. Again, on news that that's not happening. So, okay. Nice move there for Fannie and Freddie. Continues to go higher and higher right there. We had identified that with Jeff Mendel a little while ago. Fannie and Freddie still doing that damn thing right there. Nice move to the upside. I'm going to cancel my stop on Tesla. We don't have too much time left to go right now, but thanks for all of that there with the Fannie and Freddie love. All right, there goes Tesla. Still that 420. That's the wrong chart right there. There goes Tesla back down into 426 and change. Of course, we are short up top at 432. So with only 10 seconds left, let's go back over to the countdown, go over to Adara and see what she's up to. Oh, a little dancing action here on a Friday. All right, 5, 4, only 5 seconds left, and then we are done. 3, 2, 1. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are still in this position with Tesla. We'll get out of it very, very soon. Let's see if we do get a little bit of a flush back in here. Let's put a bid down in and around 426. Maybe we'll get a flush, maybe we don't. Good trade there for us to end the day. Look, thank you so much. We have Raider Trader coming. It's 4, there we go. It's 4 o'clock. We just got filled there on Tesla. $7, wait a minute, 432 to 426. $6 there at the end of the day on Tesla, so a good win for us. Put that nicely into the green. It was a good day. We'll wait to see what can happen on Monday there. Good job there on Fannie and Freddie. Anybody that's had that, I know some of the traders in there behind us have been talking about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I tried to buy that thing at $4 or $5, but realized I couldn't put it into any registered account, so that kind of sucked, and then I got lazy about it and didn't do anything after that. So, all right, Fannie and Freddie continues to go. Tesla continues to go. What was a very, very exciting week. NASDAQ holds bid up 1%. All right, for me, I'm out of here. From everybody else, they'll wrap it up. But let's thanks Neil for a great show. Thanks to Derek for everything else. And thanks to Bears vs. Bulls and Ramin switching all day. That's a tough job for sure. So we'll say bye to everybody and have a great weekend. I'll see everybody on Tuesday. Happy MLK Day.
Yes, thank you very much, Sean. And now that it's gone $7 down, Tesla, can you please just stop going down so we can get a rally next week? All right?
Yes.
Come on. I want 2 things. No, I want 1 thing this weekend. Well, 2. I want everyone to have a fantastic weekend. I want the Bills to win. That's what it's all about there. But Tesla's up 3%. So I know like it was dropping it like it's hot for most of the afternoon. Well, the late afternoon, I should say. Still going to be up 3 points. And this is after, sort of a little bit of a rough go of it lately. So going into the weekend, or the long weekend, I should say, you are still going out on a little bit of strength here. I know it doesn't feel that way sometimes when you drop like this. And I just saw in the chat, for those asking, the Piper, what is MLK Day? It's Martin Luther King Jr. Day in the United States. It's an observed market holiday. So the U.S. markets will not be open on Monday, and as such, we won't have a show on Monday. You can always check out the inauguration. We're going to have some stuff we're dropping on socials, and you can check out some of our shorts as well. So do enjoy that for sure. Smokey Love says Houston will win. I hope they do, so we don't have to face the Chiefs. But what a day in the overall market. And really, a lot of it has to do with Adara, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
We finally have broken away from 100K. And we got to 106 today, 106,000. A little bit of a late day pullback here when you track. If I'm looking here at iBit, a little bit of a late day pullback, losing VWAP, but still a very, very strong day to the upside. And can't really hate on it. MSTR was a good one. I didn't actually trade MSTR today. Did you look?
I looked at MSTR. I did not trade MSTR today, but yeah, that was like that move. I tried to get in 385s. A little too powerful. Alas, I tried 385s and then I tried 387, risking to 385s. That actually would have been a really solid level. So I stand by that. I think my issue this whole week, because I had a really strong start to the week. Actually, my best trade of the week, and honestly, probably for like a long time, was the MS chair long on Monday morning on the open. But yeah, the rest of this week was a little bit rough for me. And I think a lot of it just has to do with the ideas were generally pretty solid. I just need to be more aggressive on my executions and ideas I believe in. So probably going to size down next week, go back to the drawing board, do some aggressive journaling, and then come back. Because that MSTR, like if I was aggressive enough to get in on that 387, that didn't really break. Because that was really just levels I liked as well. On the daily chart, 384 was a nice little top. It holds from resistance to support. So I had reasons for that. There was a method to my madness. Alas, I was unaggressive enough on said madness, and I'm ready to be more aggressive next week.
You're in the right spot though. Like the reality, Bitcoin is moving the way that it is. Kind of, you know, if you like stocks of that ilk, then on a day where Bitcoin is breaking out to 106, MSTR is going to be the trade. Win, lose, or draw, you're looking in the right spot. Apparently in the aftermarket, Nucleus Inc. is where to look. They landmark $8.7 billion defense deal. Here is Nucleus aligns with growing air defense momentum. So that would be what I just saw. And it's like obviously that is a pretty hefty bounce that it is making, as you can see. So pretty good look for Nuke, as this is a bit of a continuation play as well. I will point out on the daily chart that this has obviously done some pretty large moves before. 16% short float. The float is 1.17 million shares. So it's going to be a big time mover. Crazy action in the aftermarket. Crazy action here in the aftermarket and also during the day for NUKK. Maybe we'll look at this and see how it does next week. But an absolute runner. Not expecting a heck of a lot that way, but there were some fantastic runners this week that I felt like we didn't cover enough, Adara, because it's earnings season.
Yeah.
And when we're back in earnings season, it starts with the banks.
It does, yeah.
Whether it's Goldman, whether it's Citi, whether it's Morgan Stanley, whether it's JP Morgan, with the notable, I mean, it wasn't everybody, like not everybody blew it out of the water, but yeah, Morgan Stanley with a fresh 52-week high, Goldman Sachs powerhouse as well. So we're off to a good start with earnings season.
We are, and I think that's really exciting. Next week we'll have even more winners, and I think the Mag 7 earnings season is going to be a lot spicier because, as Sean and I were talking about, Tesla usually reports like a week before the other Mag 7. That is not the case this quarter. They're reporting it the same day as, I believe, Meta and Microsoft, though Amazon has actually not said or confirmed a date. So Amazon's up in the air, but the fact that Tesla's going to be reporting the same day as these other Mag 7s, I wonder if that'll impact its earnings move. Because I believe part of the reason that Tesla usually has a mad move on earnings is because there's usually no other big plays the same day as it. So it can kind of do its own thing. But if people are distracted by other stocks, I wonder what happens to Tesla. Now, that's probably just a devil's advocate play because we know that Tesla usually gets a lot of attention regardless. Yeah. But I want to put it out there because I think it's interesting and I think it's something worth thinking about. Also, someone was in the chat here saying Mile High Momo apparently went to college with Josh Allen, apparently saying he was a good quarterback then as well. So, yeah, wanted me to tell you that. I thought I'd tell you that. But, yeah, earnings have been really solid. I know WBA is the gift that keeps on giving. Obi's been on that pretty consistently, though they did have that little drop now, apparently being investigated for allowing medical prescriptions that are not actually medically needed. And with that in mind, too, Moderna actually got a story after the close, too, receiving $590 million from the government for its bird flu vaccine development. So if you're looking, yeah, that's the name to watch. Eli Lilly, that will be the name I'm watching in the healthcare space. It broke below that 730 support from that drop on Monday.
It's over.
So I know, and this is one of my top plays on the bullish side, so yikes. But I will be like trading this in some direction. I'll be watching this 100%, I guarantee, tomorrow.
For the record, for the second time in the last year, I sold some shares of Eli Lilly in my personal account.
You didn't.
I've owned them for a while, but it looks pretty darn bullish to me, or bearish to me, I should say. On Eli bullish, no bearish. I don't like what I'm seeing with Eli Lilly. Clearly, trend is reversed. When it held the 720 level, I felt pretty solid about it. It looked like it could bounce here, maybe regain that momentum above the 200 period moving average. Just didn't happen. Now it looks like a bleed. And my fear is that if you lose this support at $700, Eli Lilly's dropping 25, 30% easy. Easy. You're starting to see a little bit of a change in sentiment around these GLP names, to be sure. Just shout out to you, Mile High Momo. That's very, very cool that you went to school with Josh Allen. I think his growth is unbelievable. We always talk about in trading, like your development is never done. You've never learned everything. You always have to be striving to get better as a trader, like learning new tricks, getting a little bit more efficient. Josh Allen's footwork, mechanics, all of that was a mess. He's just a great athlete who get by on that. But the amount of work he put in to be able to get to a point where now he's an accurate quarterback, you don't see the interceptions. I don't think people understand. Like, he's obviously ridiculously gifted as an athlete, but like he was very, very raw coming out of college.
Really?
And I love watching him go because you probably wouldn't know this, but like if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you would watch games and it's like, what is he thinking? How could he miss that throw? And it was like little simple things in his mechanics. It'd be the equivalent of like he'd make mistakes where you're watching a stock, and it would be the equivalent of like seeing an obvious support level and not even having a stop order, and you're just like, what is this guy doing?
Oh, okay.
That was like watching Josh.
So
Allen
more like some
for
like
example.
logical, I guess, like logistical.
And some of it was decision making, some of it was his mechanics, but he worked so hard on it, and it's so much fun to see him be so good right now and taking us to the Super Bowl this year. Right?
That's really cool.
So Celery 2 says he's no Lamar. You're right. Lamar and Josh Allen, two very different players. Lamar Jackson scares the living you-know-what out of me.
What team is he?
He plays for Baltimore. That's who the Bills are playing.
Oh, Ravens, okay.
Scares the living crap out of me. Like that's the one team. Like I'm not afraid when the Bills play the Chiefs. I think they're just a better team. But I'm definitely afraid of the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Ravens. I just saw in the chat someone just said, "What's up with Moderna?"
I'll say it again here because I did say it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Basically, according to Reuters, the U.S. has given Moderna $590 million to develop its bird flu vaccine. So just over $500 million for mRNA, getting some moolah to develop its bird flu vaccine. I will drop the headline as well in the chat.
Thank you very much. I just want to make sure that everyone that saw that, Derek did mention it, but we're mentioning it again. 11% short float on Moderna. It has been absolutely bleeding. Keep in mind, not just since the election, but certainly since the election, it hasn't been doing very well either. Like this was already bleeding and then just bleeding even further when you had RFK presumed and then now in a very key role in the administration. So Moderna, bad stock, catching a little bit of a bit. Like you have to zoom in really far, like get your magnifying glass out to be able to see this local break. Now for a trade, hey, that doesn't look bad. Maybe fill in that gap. For an investment, well, the chart looks like it does for a reason. So maybe let it catch a little more wind than that. Worth watching on Tuesday, of course, with this catalyst. I think I'll put it up on a watch list for sure. But I do believe, you let me know when we're ready, Ramin, because we're expecting to have one of our favorite guests, the mayor of Ohio, is going to be coming through and joining us on the show for a little bit of Trader Talk. Like, the second we get the okay. We are ready. We're ready for a little Trader Talk with the mayor himself.
Thank you. You guys can stop giving me a round of applause now.
The mayor. No, Andrew Rader, our good friend of the show, looking sharp as always. Wow, what a week.
It was an insane week, to say the least. Weather is improving in Ohio. And just to find out, I turned on the Weather Channel, and there's a cold vortex coming to the United States from Canada. No surprise.
Our fault.
So
that's what you get for trying to slap terrorists on us. We just send you the polar vortex or whatever the heck they're calling these things these days.
Apparently, we're going to have a lot more than 50 states this year. I don't know if that's going to go,
No, I see where you're going with it. It's not going to happen, but we could always have a little bit.
I know it's not going to happen.
Oh, come on. But look, Andrew, whether we're talking about, I don't know if you, look, the yields have been going absolutely haywire. We got a bunch of economic data this week. We got inflation data. We got jobs data. First, the 10-year was absolutely flying. Then the 10-year is coming back, and Bitcoin was losing 100,000. And Bitcoin is pressing towards potentially all-time highs. We had the banks come in and absolutely crush it across the board. There's a lot to digest this week. You got the inauguration coming up, so we're rounding into earnings season. I almost don't know where to start, but I do want to start with what we kind of saw, a bit of a bleed in Apple, strength in the financials. Like, what's your look start off? Maybe just the financials. Like, how do you feel about the start of earnings season with the banks? Because it has me very bullish. We did our picks recently, and I actually made one of my 3 picks for the year, the ETF. I mean, I just like the XLF, and I think it's starting out really, really well.
Sure, yeah. So pretty simple and straightforward trade I'm going to be looking for, and it will kind of forecast the future of the market, is, of course, everyone knows the inauguration. Now, here's what I'm looking forward to ahead of the inauguration and how you guys can play this. Typically, this is how I would position into it, and this is how I am going to position into it. But what you want to look for is, of course, with a Republican administration coming in, those favor really 3 industries: industrials, XLI, XLF being the big banks because of deregulation, but also energy. energy got a substantial rally following the 10th into the inauguration in anticipation that Trump would start cutting these things, drill, quote, drill, baby drill, whatever that quote was. And so you had these big three industries that got a run up into the inauguration. Now, we talked about this last time, that the trade of the inauguration is never on the day of the inauguration. You guys don't just go and buy stocks on the inauguration day because you think that that's going to be when Trump starts to do things, blah, yada, yada. The markets are pricing in different decisions ahead of time. We might not know what those decisions are now, but how we can position for them is this. What you want to look for is if XLF, XLI, or XLE, one of those sectors is going to start sell. Well, they're not going to, but if they start to sell off one of those, you'll see a big dump in likely the banks first, I think, given that they reported good numbers. And if you see any abnormal selling pressure in those, that is a 2 to 4 day sign that the markets will follow with substantial selling pressure. So that is kind of the window you want to look for. And again, you're just going to be wanting to watch XLI, XLF, and XLE, since those are the three quote unquote anticipation trades for the Trump administration.
I think that's fantastic insight, Andrew, because look, I mean, XLE in particular, well, all of them have been running up, but XLE, it's easy to get FOMO in a situation like that, where you've just basically been seeing it rally since the end of last year, and you're pretty much right back going into the highs on the daily. Everyone has gotten FOMO at some point. You start thinking buy the news, but it's that feeling that can allow things to turn around so heavily sometimes with too many people trapped with weak hands up at the top of a move. Before we get on here, because there's a couple of other things I know we want to touch on. There was a question that we have from one of our viewers, and I know we can always put you on the spot to have one of our viewers or one of us or one of our viewers ask you a question. So I'm going to throw it to Adara because we have something from Havana Woody.
Hi there. This question was from Havana Woody, but it's a question I actually wanted to talk to you about as well, so I think that's pretty perfect. You had posted about your Carvana trade after the Hindenburg short report, and then also basically that you said because of Roblox's move after its own Hindenburg report, you were kind of inspired or I guess motivated to trade that, and you did quite well with said Carvana trade. So how did you spot that opportunity, take advantage of that opportunity, and then how would you go looking forward for other opportunities after short reports in the future with something like that?
Yeah, so I'll just talk about this a little bit. In case you guys missed this, one of my big trades this week, which was just over 1,600%, was Carvana. Now, how did I get this? There was a little luck involved, but you know what they say, if you go door to door, eventually Grandpa will give you a $20 bill, right? So when you go around and you look for things in the market, you're always looking for data that's maybe interpreted poorly or something that's not straightforward. Well, me being a researcher and trader, in case you guys don't know, I do the Radar Report. That's where I post all my professional research, things like that. I've had exceptional mentors. I'm very lucky to be in the position I am. But as a researcher, I am always reading material from other research groups, including Grizzly Research. Hindenburg is another one, famous one. And they're very famous groups from in the past, exposing a lot of fraud with, I believe one of the, either Grizzly or Hindenburg really blew up with one of these coffee Chinese companies that was like a Starbucks competitor, but really wasn't. Fake numbers. They like physically put agents outside the door to count how many people were going in the name. Really resilient research. I don't know if that was Hindenburg or Grizzly, one of those, maybe a different firm. But when I was reading Hindenburg's research report, they recently published a report in, I believe it was October or August, of the on Roblox. And they basically said it was a, just bad for the kids. There was predators roaming the streets of Roblox, all this other stuff. But all the information in that report was really not new to the markets. They incited, hey, they're inflating their numbers. Well, every social media company is doing that. That doesn't affect profitability. And so what you actually saw was Roblox, if you want to share my chart, from the report, this was the day right after the report here, it liquidated and rallied 80% against Hindenburg's research report. And this was one sign where I was like, okay, this is very childish research. It really wasn't in depth. It was like a kid kicking and screaming, calling about bad things in a company, but nothing related to the business. The next report they released was on January 2nd, right here on Carvana. And right here was the level that I drew at 200. They shorted at 200, and they released this report citing that Carvana was this bad company, trash, Ponzi scheme, yada, yada, yada. Well, the market already knew that. Carvana has already dropped, 90%. This is at this rate just a short squeeze name. The market knew this was a trash company fundamentally. Why it's rallying is more mechanical, that you keep having people short it because it's a trash company, and that continues to drive markets higher because they're supported by puts, which ultimately over the longer course of time, market makers have to buy shares back as the puts lose value. That's how the market works. That's why markets always go up, stonks go up. And so what you have right here is as Carvana came into that $200 level, I said, well, wait a minute. If a market's consolidating at the level where there was a research report released and it dropped from, then that market is contemplating, it has to make a decision. Do you pump it over that level and you believe the firm's right in their research and that it's truly bad and new information? Or do you rally against it in the sense that they don't care anymore? And so that was the trade. And it turns out, the day after I published this trade idea, this was the liquidating move for Hindenburg. So they probably were buying back shorts, which fueled the rally here. So I could say I had a fatality on Hindenburg research. I got the last trade.
Oh, I like that one. Great look and a great answer. I'm glad you found that because, interestingly enough, Andrew, in the afternoon show, we actually got questions specifically about FTAI, which just had a short seller report, and RCAT, which had a short seller report. And I think the important thing that you showed there is, A, you have a thesis behind it, but there was a decision-making point where it had gotten back to the 200. Like it had gotten back to that level and started breaking out, which those other two names on the reports have yet to actually find themselves a point where the market decides whether they want to buy them back up. That's always a very, very important thing. And I like that you structure that risk to reward very well. And I like the Luck and Coffee one. That was a wild.
Yeah, that's right. Luck and Coffee. I believe I remember that. Yeah, it was something that I watched a documentary on that, and I think it was one of those groups that did it.
Yeah, and there's always a place for I'm not, we don't try to sit there and morally judge short sellers, whatever. But the mechanics of they're already in the short and then they drop the report is something that we should all understand. This is what they do. That's part of their business. So you should be able to identify usually an area which they probably have been able to enter the position. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. But if you can, it can be a very useful piece of information as you demonstrated this week.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going forward as well, this is a big sign to you guys that just because there is news does not mean it's new, okay? The word news has the word new in it, but that doesn't mean it's actually new. There's a lot of news out there that comes out, and you have to understand that markets are very intelligent, and there is a part of, you guys know efficient market hypothesis. I don't believe a lot of the aspects of that, but there is one part that you really do need to understand. It's that markets do try to understand every available piece of information out there, whether it makes sense or not. So when you have something, not saying that everything's priced in, but when it comes to something like, let's say next week Boeing comes out with a headline that, their Boeing assembly line stops. This company's trash. Maybe not trash, but it's nothing new for Boeing. Doors flying up, it's not new. The markets have already talked about this before. They've been through this circus. So you just have to understand bad news, it might be good news sometimes. So, yeah.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I think sometimes we get a little bit complacent with it, and Boeing's a perfect example of that complacency where we're so used to hearing the bad headlines. Like what could you possibly say that's going to make it any worse for Boeing? That's probably why it's not going down anymore. The fact that it goes a couple of weeks without a news story, a bad one, is a good sign. But transitioning from that to a name, because I want to ask you about J&J. Every now and then we got a question today about Kohl's, which is on a different level of a stock is trying to bounce off some lows. But Johnson & Johnson here, I haven't looked at this stock in a hot minute, and on the daily chart, this is a major support level, a higher low that this is coming off of here and sort of trending down into it. So can you tell me what your interest is with J&J, just support and resistance thing? Or is there anything a higher level you want to drop on us?
Yeah, so for sure. As far as the J&J goes, so if you want to share my chart real quick, This was kind of a trade that I was looking at into the end of the week. I am currently long this. I sold most of my position coming into today. But as far as what I'm looking at, healthcare stocks was one of the themes, and we'll get to this in the broad market, what you guys can invest in moving forward, that I truly believe. We are coming up to a big pivotal point in the market. We have January. biggest expiration for individual stocks. December typically is the biggest expiration for indices, so SPY, things like that. And so what you have now is a fresh palette. And a lot of market makers, money managers, things like that are going to start repositioning. They're going to start grabbing things, rebalancing. You're in this big volatile period. And we've seen this since the start of January, since after December 20th. We've talked about this. Volatility spikes. You get this bottom now, and you pumped into this week OPEX. Now that you have the big options expiration over with, now we're moving into February. February, historically, if you guys look right here, this is a seasonal chart. You typically get a big drop into mid-February. Remember, this is no longer an election year. We are 2025. And so you typically do get a big kind of drop, selling pressure period into mid-February. Does that mean market crash? Not necessarily. But what you want to look for is names that are more beaten down to grab for the quick bounce. And then as you start to get out of that bounce, you want to play the continuation. We've already talked about this. So in the case of the market bottom that we are playing, SPY was dropping into January 13th. You have that bottom. We talked about this also, I believe, last time we were on here. You could not really drop anymore because of how big the put wall is in the market. In case you guys don't know, I talk about this all the time. When there's huge put walls in the market, too close to the money, markets physically, mechanically, they just can't drop. Why? Because the market maker is short to hedge the puts that he sells. As you get closer to expiration, those puts get crushed because they lose premium, and they also lose premium to IV and theta decay, so time and implied volatility. Those two factors work against puts. As puts lose value, market makers have to hedge less. How do they exit their hedges? They buy more shares back. So that's why you saw that big pump into OPEX being January 17th today. Now, as far as what you were saying with J&J Healthcare, this is a classic market maker cycle. What I longed into this week was you had a spring, max pain, and then you just target the spring high. In this case, it was just above 147. So I like J&J moving forward. But as far as the winners, which we can talk about next, into the next few months, I do have a sector or industry that not a lot of people are looking at right now. And I think it could be, within the next year, bigger than AI, just to say.
Well, this is what we're trying to lead into, and I see you're kind of slow rolling us into it. Look, man, I'm just going to shut up and let you tell us what this is that's bigger than AI.
Okay, so I will say this. I do research reports. So in my due diligence, I will say I can't tell you guys every ticker's name. But I've made a list of tickers that is 34 tickers long. And it is related to the industry of robotics. That's the only time I'm ever going to say it. If it gets deleted, if this VOD of this stream gets deleted, you guys will never hear this again. But that industry, I believe, personally, will be better and bigger than AI. Now, we always talk about how there's different regimes in the market. One of the biggest regimes that I'm looking for in the next 3 to 5 years for my long-term portfolio is the word I just said, but also, I got to stay true to what I just said. But also, on top of that name, that scary word that I'm not going to say again, biometrics. So biometric security. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of stocks for that. So the other word I just said, which if you just joined the stream, good luck. But that's what we're going to look at. So as far as some tickers, I can't really give that many. But AAPL, and then some others, there's a lot there. Sorry, I have a really bad cold today. But HON. But yeah, a lot of those are in robotics and things like that. So that's what I'll be.
You just said the word.
Sorry. No.
Bang, bang. See, that's what happens. That's what happens, Andrew. Now you've dropped it for us. We didn't hear the tickers, but
no, we couldn't hear that.
That's unlucky, LECO. That's unlucky, guys. Yep.
No, we appreciate you there, Andrew. One thing, it's for anyone that's doing research. You said biometrics. There's always the opportunity. It's a little bit harder to find every now and then. But you can find some of these funds that are invested in pre-IPO and private companies, and you never, if you do enough research, you might be able to find something that's weighted in a biometrics private company. That's really hard to do, but a lot of people did that digging to get invested into SpaceX, which has worked well for them. So I'm sure usually there's a way that you can find, but those are very difficult. I should also preface this. If you're ever investing in a fund that's doing a lot of pre-IPO, you've got to be very careful to do some research into the actual weighting of what they've held, what all the recent funding rounds have been, and then just try to do some math to see if it's even a reasonable valuation based on the most recent funding rounds of all of the things that they've held. I've seen some that are way out of whack that you shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but there are some ways that you can get into some private companies.
Yeah, and when you guys are doing research, really don't fall for the craze or the news. You go on websites like, believe me, I read every article out there. I read Wall Street Journal, Barron's, all this stuff, and you'll hear opinion pieces that are, hey, this is why, the classic headline, Tesla is cheap. Here's why you should buy. That don't read articles like that. You only want to listen to people with research, with ideas. And so what I found and what I researched with my mentors was that we found this idea that if you're into AI and you have all this kind of investing into AI, how do you make an economy more efficient with AI? Well, it's not going to be ChatGPT. Artificial intelligence isn't useful with ChatGPT. You're not going to be able to boost sales of a fintech company or a finance company just from ChatGPT. You're not going to replace the clerk at the desk filling out complicated finance forms with ChatGPT. It's not going to happen. But what will help is robotics, things like manufacturing, things like, especially if tariffs come into play, you're going to see a huge move to domestic manufacturing or attempt to. You're going to need a lot more logistics, biometrics, robotics, things like that. And so what you actually find is that the investment into AI is just a prelude to using that AI to make bigger and better machines that actually increase productivity on a physical material scale. So that's really what you want to look for. But again, I have 34 tickers. I'm going to talk about them all in my upcoming report that I release every month on top of my weeklies. But, I say that. I don't mean to plug it, but I can't talk about it all the time online because, when the Raider comes through with some ideas, he's got to keep them his ideas,
No, I'm not gonna. No one's gonna hate on that, Andrew, and mad respect for it. I just hope there's something in there on port automation because I feel like that's one of those things. It's low hanging fruit, and I was looking at like where you can maybe even play that because as you said, you're talking about logistics. Obviously, we know you got to be able to move stuff to buy it. That's just the reality. None of that is changing. And clearly, you've already seen some labor issues on both ends of it in the United States. Port automation is going to be a big deal in the next 5 to 10 years, and somebody's got to have this down packed for sure. So I think your insights, as usual, are always fantastic, Andrew.
Now, I do have a contest if we want to do this because
let's do it.
I do have this list of 34 tickers sitting in front of me. And it would be a shame if I gave someone in chat $100 to pick from this list of their choosing to invest in one of these companies. So I don't know if the chat wants to win $300. We could do another Neil is handsome again.
Oh, do something different, Andrew. Do something a little bit different.
Well, that got the chat going crazy last time I was there.
Okay, so the last time we did this.
How about Robo Neil?
Robo Neil.
Robo Neil? Okay, so you can explain that. This is your thing. Well, I'll let it be if you want to do the Robo Neil, but let's get the chat fired up. I have the chat up right now. We'll try to stop it at the right moment so we can figure it out. But Andrew, I'll let you take it.
You guys can pick the username. Just they will be in charge of reaching out to me. So
I see a lot of guesses going on in the chat right now. I don't know if you're following it for sure. I'm seeing a few people putting in Robo Neil there, Andrew. So you want to get this party started?
I do. And to the person who I select, not only will you get $100, but I will send you the list of 34 tickers that I found.
Sounds fantastic. So first of all, if you want to be in the chat, it's a subscribers-only chat. If you're listening and you're not a subscriber, then you can't post in the chat. I'm seeing them start to fly off right here now, Andrew. So we got it running, and you can say stop whenever you want to.
All right.
We'll let that one be up to you.
5-second countdown. It's going to be a real long 5 seconds, everyone. You ready?
It's flying through.
5, 4, 3.
Oh, they keep coming.
2.
Oh, who's it gonna be? I should have put myself in there.
1. Select a name.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. The second you said select a name, I stopped. I see A. Huts here in the chat. So I'm gonna hold on a second. Let me just do a quick little cut and paste of that. I'm gonna make sure we got that one.
You will be in charge of DMing me on Instagram at RaiderTrader or Twitter with proof that you own the account. So screenshot your account, like on the profile page, and I will send the money over to you, my good friend.
Fantastic, and always a man of his word is Andrew Raider. I'm just literally sending a message to so we remember it as well, but we've got you a hut. As always.
Someone said BS in chat. Guys, I don't know what they're supposed to do it.
I mean, look, ultimately, it is what it is. The second you said it, we stop on a name, we click on a name. You can't do it any more scientific than that.
Guys, that was completely rigged. We pre-planned everything. We were waiting to see his name in chat and everything. Believe it.
That's how we roll. But Andrew, once again, thank you for always, not just the knowledge that you drop, but the fun that you do it with. I mean, like, you know, it's always good to talk shop. It's even more fun when we have a good friend of you like on the show, of yours to come on the show. Want to wish you all a happy long weekend. Of course, because we do have a market holiday on Monday.
It's about the 6th one in 8 weeks, I swear. But yeah,
it's crazy. We finally had a full week in the market, and then then it's just like right back to the holiday short week. But things get back to normal with earnings season next week. Andrew Rader, thank you so much for stepping through. Good friend of the show. Have a great weekend, my friend.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Tough to beat that, Andrew Rader, 34 names. I think I saw a lot of really good guesses as to some of the names in there in the chat. I'm guessing you guys probably got from what I saw, I'm pretty sure you got a few of them in there, so good looks there. Want to thank everybody for coming on through. We are past 4:30. Going to be hard to top the rapid fire action that you just saw in the chat for the contest. Shout out to A Huts for winning that, and make sure you DM Andrew to collect. Adara, we do a little something. We're going to drop a little roll call at the end of the day. First things first. Already told you need to be a subscriber to be in the chat, so make sure you do that. But big shout out to Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Fabian wasn't able to make it in here today, so thank you for Ramin being on the board the whole day. Big shout out to the Midday crew. We had the Bash brothers absolutely killing it and crushing it. Great job with Sean today at the end of the day. I'll be seeing him. We're going to be watching the Bills game on Sunday, having a lot of fun. And thank you so much to Adara, of course, being on the news desk, making sure we get all of that real-time good in the markets. And thank you to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator out there. Without further ado, let's get a little roll call going.
Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Neil. Thank you so much for being here, Neil. On Friday on night, we have Bears versus Bulls in the chat. Shout out to you, Ramin, staying back, Fabian, Andre as well, Brendan. We have the Bash brothers, Joe and Sharif, and we also everybody else in the back and everyone in the chat. Also, Starbucks CEO Brian Nichols sent a letter saying there's going to be probably job cuts at some point, but there's no more announcement until March, so stay tuned. And it's not going to be anyone in store. It'll be like higher level people. Anyways, Celery 2, Bearded Warrior Trades, Jay Alvarez, Sir MM, Raul, Reload to Relojes, Darwin, Aldana Trading, No Momo FOMO. Yo, I love that. That's a lot of yo's. Oh, we got Great Scott, Marie L, Bigga Bees. We have Bob the Builder, Rivian Millionaire. Shout out to you. We have Mr. IN, Wall Street Only. Celery 2, The Piper, Gujuju G. We got Sergio Bermudez. We have Genius Tongues, By Grace, Arfid Trader, Oliver Cut Soros, Jordy VWAP, Gujuji again here, Zamito Smith, Lazy Rocks, Smoky Love, Chase Band's nephew with the capital P, and Carlos Briones. Go Explore is the last one, so I think with that we'll tell you all to go explore. Yes. And have a great weekend and a great Monday. And, you know, I will be doing some aggressive journaling. Whatever you do, however you're reflecting, make sure you're ready to come back on Tuesday, because these markets will be ready for you too. They are going to be ready, so it's wild. We'll have obviously a holiday, long weekend, so plenty of time to rest up. Earnings are coming through next week. You got the inauguration on Monday. You have the move in Bitcoin. So I think there's going to be a lot of action, and we'll be right here for you Tuesday morning at 8:30. We're Trader TV Live. Have a great weekend. See you on Tuesday.